Welcome back to another episode of Rap Drinks. Today's guest is Jose Ramirez. He's a sound mixer, born and raised in Queens, New York, and you've probably heard some of his work on Funny Pages, Second Chance, and Bad Shabbos. Today we're chatting with Jose about being a sound mixer on set and why it's actually not that hard of a job as sound mixers make it out to be.
What? Wow.
Secrets out.
That's amazing.
Anyways.
I love that.
Cheers, Jose.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
So why did you choose the easiest department?
No one wanted to do it, man. No, it's weird. College, I was like, everyone wanted to be a DP or a director, and I was in school for that too, like writing, directing major. But like, you have to be on set, work on people's movies, and everyone already had like, oh, this is my DP, this is my camera person, blah, blah, blah. And no one wanted to do sound, and you needed to have like a boom operator on those student films and shit. And I saw the equipment, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this stuff before, and like, I did some music in high school, and like I had a band or whatever, but like not a professional or whatever, but like I had an enthusiasm for it. So
Yeah.
didn't freak me out. But then I ended up just doing like almost every single person's student film while I was in school. I was like the sound guy at school. So it was like me and two other guys, and that's it.
But you had like a music background beforehand too. Were you like in a band or something? So you knew the stuff when
Yeah,
you
I was like, I
decided
played
to
with
go?
my friends in high school. Like we had like local just like stuff going on. We didn't have anything crazy, but like I just played a lot. I remember my parents got me into bass, and I was in band in school, and I played a lot of classical. I read music, I went to music school, and like that was one nice thing my parents did for me. My love for music.
Nice thing.
The one nice thing. Then I said, I'm going to film school. I want to go. But yeah, no, I coming from music and going into art school was kind of cool. Just like, and I was making, my high school films. I was a kid in high school who was always doing like, there's like a big project going on. Do you want to do a group project? Do you want to do a paper? I was like, can I make a short film? And they were always like, yeah, okay, you can make a short film. And I'll like,
Nerd.
whether we're reading a book or some like paper on some bullshit, I was just like, no, I'm gonna make a short film about it, like, and have my friends reenact scenes from books they were reading in school.
Drunk history in high school.
Yeah, literally. It was pretty gnarly stuff. And then I went to SVA straight from high school. It was like one of the very few film schools that gave you an actual 4-year bachelor's degree. Not that it means anything; it's a film degree. Right. But I did it for me. I did it for mom. I almost dropped out. I was working so much that like by the time I was a senior, I was like contemplating. Should I keep spending this money? It's expensive.
That's an interesting thing in film school. I feel it's like, how can your professors get mad at you if you're doing the thing you're there for?
Yeah, and honest. Yeah, I mean, I heard stories of people having that nightmare, like, I couldn't go, even though it was a film school. My film teachers luckily were like, if you can show me a call sheet, you don't have to show up.
Right. What? And it's like, there's incentive to not get kicked out because you get free equipment through the school.
Exactly.
So it's like,
exactly.
There's an incentive to just keep it going.
Keep it going, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just one of those things where I just kept hustling and trying to do it. And SVA was a really good program where like they're like, hey, go work. And I was PAing like crazy. Making connections, working.
How did you get your first on-set job?
So I had a algebra teacher in high school.
Interesting. I would
Who
not.
like had he had film
Left
friends.
turn.
He had film friends. So I was like the film kid in high school. I was like, oh, the film
Interesting.
kid. Everyone was like, oh yeah, you're gonna be a director one day. That was like everyone was like most likely to whatever. I was like the film person. But my algebra teacher was like, hey, like, are you serious about this? Like, I have friends who like make indie films and like they are in the biz. Like, I can give me your email and like you can like work for them. And then I had another teacher that worked there. It was in the faculty. He also knew a locations manager that he was friends with because he used to produce movies in China. And now he's like, oh, my friend Jeannie, she's one of the big locations people in New York, PA for her. And that was it. I remember doing White Collar season 2.
Huh.
I was 18 years old. I was about to graduate high school. And
They're like, you're 18, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah. And I went to go work, and I did like a free day. I think it was like 18 hours, and I was so stoked, so jacked. Yeah. I like handled crowd control. We were in the middle of Main Street Flushing. Overnight, it was raining. It was packed with people, and it was like this like scene where like a SWAT team was running down the staircase of the LIR and going into this like fake underground opium den or whatever. I don't know. It was like a big raid. It was like a raid sequence, And it was like insane. And I'll never forget also just like how they used to do it back in the day with locations. We had to shut down most of the stores, and it's all these big businesses. And it was 2009, and it was me with a duffel bag with cash.
What?
And this other guy in locations, and we go to every store, and every hour we'd give them like $100 to stay closed, and they had to like initial, and we go to each store.
That's awesome.
That was pretty cool, just to keep all the, because we'd have like, hey, you can't have business here.
Was there like a secret 13th store where you just put $100 into your pocket?
I wish. I didn't have the balls to do that yet. I was just happy to be a part of the gang,
You're like, yeah, I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
I did.
Probably the other guy took the money and then got me in trouble. It was like, it was him. But yeah, that was my first gig, and I was like super stoked. And then I got to, through that, I got to work a few days on The Other Guys, that Mark Wahlberg,
Oh, nice.
Will Ferrell movie as a PA.
nice.
You're Peacock, Sarge.
Yeah, I know, right? It was cool to be on that for a few days. And then I started SVA and PAing on, I met other people there, and, they all were like trying to get into the biz too. So I made friends with other PAs who were working. And through that, I got to work on Orange is the New Black season 2 as a PA and other random TV shows in New York. And then eventually I was like looking on set. I was like, oh, wow, the sound guys are really cool. Like,
Something no one ever said.
and I was doing it at school all the time, and like there was this, I don't know, I felt like a rock star at SVA because nobody did sound, so I was like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it was like this thing where like you really needed, and like I didn't like fool around with it. Like I gave you good sound, and people just kept hiring me, so that's kind of cool. But I like to see how the big boys were doing it. I'm seeing
Not us.
Not us.
No.
This is fine though. This is my level. But no, it was cool to see like the hierarchy of like, oh, there's 2 boom ops and a utility and
Right.
a big old dude sitting on his cart, and like how it all works.
Well, I guess like a SWAT raid, and then like The Other
Yeah.
Guys is a pretty action-heavy movie too.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's like you're going straight into
two big worlds of like just like closing streets down and having people telling me to shut the fuck up. It's New
Right.
York, and I'm like, I'm so happy. I was like, I don't care. I'm shooting a movie, man. My life's better than you right now.
I mean, I guess there is something to be said about being like young and dumb, because you're saying like your first day on set is what you're
Yeah,
16
it's so
hours in the
true.
rain. Like if
It's so
your first
true.
day on set you're 35 and you're sitting outside for 12 hours in the rain,
Yeah.
you're like, never fucking doing this
yeah,
shit again.
no,
Like,
never again.
It's true, yeah, and it's fun to see when it's not on you, the other people suffering. You're like, oh man, that really does suck. I'm glad I'm not doing that. So it gives you like extra, like I'll show up tomorrow,
Yeah.
But then when it happens to you, then you're like at your wit's end,
Right.
But yeah, no, it's just seeing the world of how it's cool to just start right away, like on the major level,
Yeah.
and then seeing how it works in that world, and then eventually in school I met Mike Infante. I was a junior. Mike Infante is this great sound mixer who
Scumbag.
He's scumbag Mike. We love you. We love you. I call him my dad. There's a lot of lore between me and Mike Infante, and he's a great mixer who I've known for a long time. He was like my mentor. He called me out of the blue one day through a mutual friend. I guess he was just looking for someone to replace himself on a web series, and he just got my number. We talked, and we had a really good vibe with each other. And then he already had a production company going on with our friend Joe Q, who I don't know if you know. You might have worked with him. I don't know, maybe not. But this is like back in like 2011, 2012, they started this stuff. And they had like this like sound company going on and a little production company thing going on. They had like a red camera and a couple sound kits and
Fancy.
doing stuff. But
SVA kids, they have so much money. They
Well,
have so much fucking money.
It was a lot of. I mean, it's all just investments and debt and a lot of debt.
A lot of
and
18-year-olds can afford a red
18-year-olds,
camera.
Yeah, I know. And then we have a really good business partner, Tom White, who helped pay for a lot of stuff and like give us like the start, which was pretty cool. But I joined the team in like 2013. So they already been going for a couple years. And Mike was like, hey, like we got this like little collective going on, like come do gigs, come make easy money. And I was like, sick. And it wasn't like,
Wait, so are you all sound people?
yeah, they were all doing sound at the time. I mean, they were still, Mike and Joe were very much at the time still like doing a lot of like directing and making their short films and still doing their own stuff and still breaking into the sound game. But they already were like working on pretty cool stuff.
But this is kind of like we talked before this. We talked a little bit about how it's nice to know other sound
yeah,
guys.
it's really nice to know all the
So
time because they were just
yeah.
keeping you busy and keeping the work going. I only had like a few clients here and there. And then Mike brought me onto my first feature as a sound, as a boom operator. And that like was awesome. At the time, I had a part-time job working for Queen's Library. I was like in like the computer labs, making sure old people can like scan their library card and have their 30 minutes on the computer, making sure they weren't watching porn or anything weird, looking at weird pictures or like my email, like telling me like to delete that spam. Don't. It's not a real prize, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A lot of like, my iPhone isn't working. Can you fix it? I'm like, I'm not the Apple Store. I'm so sorry.
My Facebook's broken.
Yeah, it was like a lot. So it was cool. I liked the library. It was fun, but it was a very. After I came back from my first feature, I was kind of like, no, I'm gonna go full freelance and just wing it and see what happens. And yeah, that they kept me busy. So
A sound guy working in a library is appropriate.
how funny is that? Right?
Quiet.
It's pretty wild. Shh, quiet.
Really,
I had no
built
idea
your
it was in me, right? I was like at the library for a few years. Yeah,
Like, do you know about room tone? You're like, I do.
I do. I have a whole library full of it. Yeah.
You got a library full.
It was, I never even thought of that until you brought it up. Wait, it was in my future. But yeah, it was a leap of faith, and they've kept me busy for a while. My first feature was Synthetic Cinema, which I know, Bert, you are aware of. They're an interesting company.
I've worked for them.
Yeah, interesting company. They started off doing a lot of horror movies.
Which is why, so I've met them as Hallmark people.
Yeah, they're the
and it's like
Hallmark.
a very different
kings.
world.
Yeah.
Do horror and Hallmark.
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 Honestly, I'm sure one day they'll cross that realm. I hope they do. Andrew, if you're listening. Andrew Gernhardt, if you're listening, I want that Hallmark horror crossover one day. But no, yeah, they were making some really cool, awesome movies for like the Chiller Network.
Okay.
So
I have a
Mike.
random question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go for it.
Would it be better to start as a horror and end as a Hallmark movie?
That'd be awesome.
Or start as a Hallmark movie? Because that's the way I would think it would start as a Hallmark movie.
You think it's
end
this
as a
happy-go-lucky,
horror?
But do you think it's-
But I think it's funnier
But
to
is it
start
a-
as a horror and then end as a Hallmark.
What kind of Hallmark movie? Is it a holiday Hallmark movie? Is it a romantic non-holiday?
It would have to be along the lines of like Nightmare Before Christmas,
Ooh,
right?
that'd be
Like
cool.
where it's like starts Halloween and then like
It becomes Christmas.
And then it's just fucking the typical Hallmark.
That's wonderful. Like they had you go like, this is a really sick film, and then it's just like it's become super PC.
Yeah, and they can like market it just as the either way, like the Hallmark side of it or the horror side of it.
Oh, you make two trailers for the same movie.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
There you go.
That's the kind of stuff I want to make.
That lends itself to a weird advertising strategy because didn't like Deadpool do a whole advertising campaign where it made it look like a love story, so like all the wives and girlfriends would go.
They had all these
Like,
themes. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, I love when they get really smart with the advertising with movies and
I
trailers.
mean, you have to trick people nowadays.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way to
do.
really get shit. Like just
Trick them. It's like a normal Hallmark movie,
yeah.
and then someone just have the family. The family gets fucking stabbed.
right? Yeah.
Hitchcock,
yeah.
just
Okay,
Hitchcock
so
the whole family in the
I think
beginning.
it's definitely better to start out as a love movie. then.
Honestly,
That's
dude,
the-
this sounds like a Lifetime because Lifetime could do that.
that's true.
Lifetime loves their their scandalous murder mysteries.
This is actually these are
Yeah.
a
I don't think-
Lifetime movie
yeah.
is
Hallmark's
a
not gonna go
Hallmark
for it.
movie horror movie.
Yeah, there you go. Man, that'd be interesting.
They already are making it. It's just they don't know that's what they're making.
This metaverse, yeah.
That's great. I like that. They just need to lean into the horror more.
The horror more, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's like fucking Saw.
Yeah, that's true. There's a market for it. I mean, people love those kind of movies.
All right, so you guys
Sorry,
you worked
tangent.
at Synthetic Camera, right?
So-
Cinema. Synthetic
Yeah,
Cinema.
so Synthetic Cinema International. Really cool cats. They've kept me busy for a long time. Mike was mixing for them for a while already. And then I would always just boom on features. And they had like Lifetime movies, Hallmark movies, Chiller movies. They were doing everything.
And this was all non-union. This was like
It was
before
it was all non-union. This is like 2012, 2013, 2014 when I started doing sound with them, and they were kind of like $1 million budgets, maybe 1.5. Some of them were like right under $1 million. You know, at least that's what I'm told.
Right.
But the budgets, the rates were insanely low. But like I was just stoked to be starting out, and I made a lot of connections and. Working in Connecticut, it's a kind of interesting mix of like New York and Boston or Massachusetts based, Rhode Island based. It's like I got to meet like a Northeast Union people a lot who were like working on these movies too. And honestly, it was pretty cool learning the politics and how it worked on like a bigger job. Like they treated it like it was like a union Hollywood set. You know, there were trailers, and they were making some pretty high budget movies, and then they went into like a weird Lifetime like low budget stuff, but they would sell, it would make money.
They've got some interesting tactics on like keeping they like to try to keep their crew happy. Like Fridays they do the alcohol raffle.
Yeah, the raffles are great.
Stuff you can't get away with on union jobs.
You really can't. But I think it's to keep the morale going because they really were grateful to have people, and it became like a film family. It was like the same department heads usually who would come back, and yeah, I mean, they started eventually, you know, they started paying way better rates, and they were getting bigger budgets, and they kept their people, you know. It wasn't like they like, oh, we have more money now, we're going to go with other people. It's like they kept their family. Yeah. So I'll give them that respect for sure.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. And if you can't do it, I've turned Synthetic down so many times in the past just because of scheduling and whatnot, and they still will reach out like, hey, are you available? And it's kind of nice, you know. I like having that familia with them, so shout out to them. But yeah, now they're big time union, making union movies now.
I wouldn't say big time.
Not big time, but tier ones, tier one babies.
It is, but so that's like you talk about turning them down. That kind of goes back to like the having friends. It's like how often is it like how much better is it for you to be able to say like I know this other mixer that is available. We're just going to swap out.
Right,
and, like,
exactly. That is such a privilege that sound has because I feel like every other department, like even camera, like a DP can't do that. You know, maybe a key grip can't. You know, I don't know. Depends on the job. I feel like with TV you can get away with it. You know, but like a feature film, especially indie, there's like this level of trust. It's like if you leave and somebody else shows up. I understand that fear of like that other person coming in for the day, not giving a fuck and not giving their 100% and kind of like ruins the vibe of the job. And like, I get it. But sound, I feel like you can just be like, hey, my boom up is just going to fucking mix.
Yeah.
I got to dip for a day. I'll be back, you know, and it's kind of like easier. People are like, okay, if he can mix, that's fine, you know.
Well, it's interesting too because it's like you hire a DP, you hire a gaffer, you hire these people because they have a style. Mm-hmm. So it's like with your sound guy, you almost like, the point is to not have it like just fucking record what's there.
Yeah, just record it. I mean, honestly, it's like what's really important is obviously to have great sound, but like, you know, the dialogue has to be great, you know. Just make sure the dialogue's recorded really well. After that, everything else is just a sense of style, like what you want in the mix or not. You know, do you want to hear other stuff? That's up to you. I think it is a sense of style. That's like the only, I feel like, artistic thing about it. It's just like the mix, how it sounds, what you want to do with it. What tracks you're bringing in and out.
How much of that are you guys doing live? How much like versus post? Like, cause
I mean, I don't know. It varies, but it is. Sometimes they just want the mix to be good because they could just use that, you know, for a lot of scenes. And if they have to use the ISO,
is that a low budget trick?
Not a low budget trick. Even majors do that. A lot of TV or ENG style jobs too. When you're doing they want the audio feed straight to camera, and they want the mix to be good. Yeah. Because I don't want your card. I'll take your card if it's an emergency. You know, like you messed up really badly.
Oh, but they want it like hard line
to the camera, mixed nicely. This way they can it's already on.
It's fast.
And because like ENG TV.
Don't you get less you get less channels? Like if you have to do post, it's harder that way. Isn't it?
But I think those jobs don't even have like it's just like a turnaround that's like immediate. You know?
Okay.
So it's like they just want a really good mix of like a couple because it's usually just like a boom and a lav or a boom and a couple handheld mics and that's it.
Okay.
And they just want those style of jobs. They just want like quick turnaround. So there's like no edit. There's no like.
It's faster for the edit in general.
If they need the ISO, they'll go to it, you know. But like they're not even gonna look at your sound card. They'll download it, but they're not gonna go to it. They just want the mix that's already fit to camera.
But so
But on movies they don't do that. It's all time code. But
you had a stint where like you've done post before, right? How I guess if you had to give it like a percentage, like what number of jobs is like actually doing like.
I think it all depends of what you like to do.
What the content is.
Yeah, what the content. Because post is so big. You could be a Foley artist, a musician, a composer, or you just straight up just like clean audio. You know, like just like a remixing or a post supervisor. You know, sometimes those guys also are on set on like big jobs, like the post supervisor. They'll just like listen in and make sure the sound is good because they want it good recorded.
So it's never the same guy.
It's never the same guy. It all depends on and it all depends. Are they, you know, is it a post house? Is it a guy who is working from his apartment? You know, it all depends on what the guy's doing. But yeah, there's a whole world of like different things you can do in post. But obviously in the indie world, you're kind of doing all of it. You're doing the music, you're doing the sound design, you're doing, you know, the ADRing and whatnot, you know, and post mixing it a bit because you'll do as much as you can, you know, for the mix on set, and then in post they'll take it and tweak it and play around with it.
So I get
you never know what's yours and what's
and
somebody else doing it.
Is that basically like based on the skills that you have, you're willing to offer these kind of services, or is it more along the lines? Yeah,
I used to when I was starting out, because a lot of times indie projects would be like, do you do your own sound, like your own post? And it's like a double paycheck, And it was cool to learn about post and how it works.
You definitely don't include. It's two separate jobs.
Yeah, two separate things. It's
Make sure you're not getting paid once to do
production work, I'm getting paid, by the day rate or like an hourly rate, whatever.
Plus your
But
kit,
then
right?
in the kit. But then when you're doing post, you're kind of agreeing to like a flat rate for like 2 weeks, maybe a month, of like I'm gonna hit you up nonstop to like finesse these edits,
Interesting.
And then you kind of just like agree to the flat rate, and you have to work on it forever. And then it was fun at first starting out and making that kind of money, but then I was working so much on set that I'd work a 15-hour day, but then I have an edit for something else due tomorrow, and I was like, I gotta not sleep tonight because I gotta and it's just it got a little tiring. And then eventually I was like, I wasn't getting enough post work to like decide on that world. I preferred being in production.
Were you getting post work that you weren't mixing? Like just
sometimes, yeah. I'll have like people be like, hey, like we had this like really bad recording. Can you clean it? Can you fix it? Is there anything you can do about it? And I was like, oh, I can try, And like little things like that for like $250, $300, like an hour's worth of my time to play with it. But
do you think that like if for people that are looking to get into the sound department or people that fell into it because nobody wants to do it, do you think I mean do you think that it's like is having some background in post or anything like that, does that help you be a better technician on set because you know what you're trying to record?
I think so, because I had a boom op. His name is Alex Monastersky. Great guy. He has a great knowledge in post, and I've done so many like short films for like friends and whatever, and then I would recommend him to do like the post.
Okay.
And he's a great DIY, has a great setup in his apartment. His his studio is sick, right? And he loves doing that stuff and just giving it all, his all about like cleaning things up and whatnot. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so it's great having him on set, because whenever I couldn't figure out, can that be cleaned in post? I don't know, because you'll be in a situation where like the producer's like, well, can we just go? Like, can we fix it in post? Like, let's just roll. We gotta go.
6 jets
we
flying
can't fix some kind of sound that's like happening, on set. Or you find the source, but it can't be turned off, and and then most of the time I can be like, yeah, I can fix that, and like I know I can, so that means your house can do it or whoever you're doing it. But then if those rare times where I'm like, I'm not sure, I could just go to Alex and be like, hey, what do you think? And he's like, oh yeah, da, da, da. Or he'll be like, no, that's bad,
right.
And then at that point, all you can do is just tell them like, hey, it's not gonna work. It's just there. Either you're gonna have to budget for ADR for this scene, or maybe there's a chance it'll be clean, but like that's the gamble you have to take. And I don't know, every mixer's different. I've heard of mixers who like will not record at all and will demand it to be like fixed, or else I'm not going to bother doing it. But I think you just have to roll with the punches sometimes and just do it, as long as you make it aware to the client that like, hey, this is the issue and I can't guarantee you.
You record yourself saying that.
Yeah, and I'm recording. I write in the sound reports too, like horrible location for sound. Producers are aware,
So can you just say confirmed into microphone?
Confirm into microphone. I'm looking at all of them in the context. They're all shaking their head. They're nodding yes. Visual confirmation.
It's like a play-by-play of
it's commentary.
It is. Yeah. We've kind of talked about like in the past, like DPs when they were working with film, like there was a lot more trust put on them because it wasn't 40 people looking at a monitor.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's like they kind of have to trust the sound person. Yes, that is able to be getting rid of, because the average person isn't going to know.
That's true.
They can hear it, but they don't know if you can actually get rid of it or not. Like
that's
the
true.
way that like a technician would.
It'd be interesting whenever I'm working on certain jobs, especially if it's like a big client village, of people who may not necessarily be filmmakers and they're only on set like every once in a while because they're like a producer or like a client, like an agency or whatever. It could be like horrendous things going on in sound, like in the background, and like it was not a good take, and then I'll go like, they love it, moving on. And I'm like, no, that was bad for sound. And you're listening in, like, how do you not? I needed to go again. And I'll be like, hey, can we go again for sound? And they'll be like, oh, we have to go again for sound apparently. And then they go, oh, well, okay, I guess.
Are there
and I'm just like, what? Like, you didn't hear it? Like, in your headset? Like, the clanking?
Are there, like, a lot of times where they think, like, if it's fuzzy, do you, like, oh, no, that's just your headset.
Yeah,
that's
like the number one thing is, like, the range of the context. Sometimes they'll, like, that little sound, the RF interference. And I get it. Like, it depends on where you are, and you have to like just do scans. But like, there every once in a while, it's just like a location. It's just like no matter what you do, it's just like no matter how many times you try to fix it, it's just like acts weird. They're sitting in a place that's a little too far. You have to run fins closer to them. You know, it's like you just have to have the workaround for it. But yeah, that's like the number one thing. They think that what they're hearing, that quality, is what I'm recording. And it's like, no, it's like that's just like a reference thing. Like, pretend it's like a walkie-talkie. You know, like you're listening to like a walkie-talkie feed of what I'm sending out. You know, it's hard to say. But like there are some locations like. They're like, huh?
They just glaze over. Like, what?
I had one director who, like, I guess he was just like not, I don't know why, but like he just didn't believe me that like the audio was good. So he came to my recorder and put my headphones on and was like, "Oh, yeah, this sounds good."
He's like, "Send me this."
And I was like, "Yeah,
send me
know."
This feed.
I was like, "I can't send you that. I am sending you that feed, but like it's a Comtech. Like maybe if you come closer to me." You'll get less interference or something. I don't know. It all depends on where you are.
Now, hold on.
Yeah.
You guys usually choose to set up as far away from
well,
video.
that's if... No, I don't do that.
I love the sound guy. Like, half the time you're walking around a stage or something like that, you go around a corner, you're like, oh, fuck. Like,
you're just there.
They're, like, hiding in the darkest spot
Some
they
people
can
like,
find.
I know. I like being not so close to Village, but like close enough because I have to like grab the ADs.
Use VTR as a buffer.
Yeah, you know.
Them and
or honestly, or if wherever fucking video is going, because then I gotta tether to them. You know, that's if I'm working on a big. I have my cart, but a lot of times if I'm just like by myself bagging it, those like high rate non-union jobs where they just want one sound guy.
Okay, so
boom on a C-stand, those kind of jobs. Then I'll be like, okay, I'm close to set, but then clients like on another floor watching.
Yeah.
And they're like, our Comtech sound like shit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to send an audio feed to the camera and watch it through the monitor,
So,
like, I don't know. Like, set up a speaker or something. I had to run, like, XLR from, like, I went up, like, we were, like, on the 38th floor. They were on the 39th. And I ran XLR out the window to, like, our set. So the speaker can play. Because it was just, like, really bad interference.
And I'm sure this was all for, like, 1:30
This is for, like, a 30-second chopped like promo. Yeah,
like
and they were like
Bobby Flay.
They had to hear this specific line that was like and they like did like alts and whatnot. That's the job. That's the nature of the job. Bam. Right?
Can you talk?
I don't think Emerald Lagasse was on Chopped. That'd be so sick. Why hasn't he been a judge on anything?
Can you talk about like the different levels of kits? So it's like
I love this
because you can go like you called it bagging it like
I love that phrase
like,
bagging it.
I love bagging it, dude. Bag it, dude.
So like you can go.
I am a bag guy for life. Don't get me wrong. I love having the cart and like, sitting there and having everything. It's great, when you're on like a really big job and you have like a million things going on and you need to go for like every department and you need that power source of this giant tower of power, But there's something about just like being able to go and just be in and out incognito on a job, especially when you're like in a really shitty location. There's no space, it's a tiny apartment. Just having the bag, Sometimes I wish I have a boom up, And I started off doing features where like I just had the bag on a chair, and then a boom up, out there, and like I didn't have a cart, but like I was working out of a bag and I had a boom up, but. There's something about producers love when you're like on a location and they're like, fuck the sound card, But then it's like, no, I'm just gonna be in a bag. I'm gonna go sit in the back somewhere and like, but that's like a diner or like a small location where there's like no space for anyone to be in.
You're just in the shot with the bag.
Dude, they just love, and like I don't mind switching it up, I get some mixers.
Does your rate change?
No, definitely not. Because it's still the same amount of equipment, same amount of microphones going. And also, it's good to have a backup recorder on you because if your thing craps out, I'll just go to my bag, and continue the rest of the day, or vice versa. You have to we're going to be filming in this house all day. You have your whole space, but then we're going to go in the woods as a skeleton crew. And you have like 10 minutes to fucking... already bag it, I've seen some cool mixers who have a bag in their cart, like a little like
they pull
bucket,
out the shelf,
and it's just like on the sides of it, they just like have everything plugged in. They just like unplug, take the bag out, and then whatever the cables are inside the bag, they just like plug it in, and you just keep going. And it's pretty gnarly. Yeah, I like that. That's kind of like my jam.
Can you talk about like, okay, I just graduated. I need to start getting jobs. If you're gonna build your bag kit, something like that, what are the must-haves?
A good multi-track recorder. I'm a big sound devices guy. Some people are Zaxcom. It's like a Mac PC argument.
Do you go straight to the 8-channel? You start with a 4?
I think 8-channel is the way to go because even if you don't have the amount of microphones, you just have the recorder ready to go. And then eventually you can work your way up, getting more mics. And now they have like 16-track recorders, 24-track recorders that are like this big. It's insane. Yeah, that 88's an 8-track recorder, but that's my favorite recorder. I started on that recorder. A lot of big movies were mixed on that. And when I was in SVA, that was a recorder that I learned on, like all of my. Okay. So when I saw it today walking into the studio, I was like, whoa, like this bad boy. I still have it sitting. Yeah, it's in my studio with my friends. We just have an 88 just sitting there. It's like, it's a relic, but it's so good.
Now you know why Alan just leaves it here.
Yeah, it is an old recorder, but like it is solid, my guy. Like it is. Yeah, I've done a lot of features on it.
What makes them like? Do they sound different, or is it just like?
I think it's just what it can do with limiters. I think that recorder, every recorder has like built-in limiters, and it depends on how good it is. If you clip or you're too loud, it'll fix it for you.
As someone who's like really terrible at sound,
what
is that like?
I feel like if you just set
like a limiter is like it just won't
won't let it clip. It won't let it peak if you can't do it yourself. If you don't want to monitor it, you just like make sure the limiters are all set. Especially it's great for like people who are like one-man banding, where they have like 4 or 5 lavs and they're booming at the same time. And you can't like mix it.
Yeah.
You just
the random horror
set the limiters, so in case you weren't there to get it, the limiter should fix it. There'll be times where especially with the 88, I'll like do a scene and I'm like, oh my god, that sounded like crap. It clipped. Oh my god, that was bad. And I do the playback, and it sounds fine. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. These limiters. I mean, the CL8 and that guy was pretty.
So that's like, I would say that sounds like the equivalent of like highlight roll off.
Cameras. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, when you're doing like big ensemble movies, you want to have your limiters going because you're not gonna. It's hard to figure out like you have 8 people talking. Big dinner scenes, or like long tracking shots where it's like we're gonna do a oneer and there's like 10 people who come in and out of sequences, and like you gotta be ready to like go. So that's you gotta have the recorder. I think is like the big thing. Mm-hmm. After that, you can upgrade your microphones. I would say Sennheiser microphones. Those G4 mics. Electrosonics are my favorite, and I love COS11s and DPAs. Those are great lav mics. But I love using Electrosonics as like my wireless system.
Is it worth like renting stuff to begin with, or
100%.
Should you just dive in and buy it?
I think you should dive in and buy it. Also, rental houses like Gotham or other places, they can finance a whole kit for you, and then you're just paying like a monthly fee for it. Oh, nice. They finance your whole kit. Okay. And that's how all mixers start off, You're like, all right, cool, I want this whole thing. Okay, that's like a $30,000 kit, but like you'll pay like $500 a month for it. With 0 interest maybe for like a year, and then you start adding interest to it. But like most sound guys, like they make, because the kit rental, you make that money, baby, and you pay off your kit so fast. And I feel like sound is like very easy because, there's always gonna be like new little things that come out, but like I feel like every 10 years, every 6 years, I'm like upgrading, whereas like cameras, like every 6 months there's something new to get.
Is there worth like it's almost like there's 2 ways to buy a car. You either buy it and then you trade it in every 2 years.
Yeah.
Or you run it into the fucking ground. Like, what's the sound?
I don't do that with my sound gear. I'm sure I've seen other sound kits of other people's, and they're like, wow, these are some old shit. Gotta get some other cables fixed. But like, no, like, I mean, you get to a certain point where you just have to upgrade. But like, yeah, I love that like certain cables or certain gear can like withstand heavy duty, crazy environments. You're going from a desert to a freezing location or whatever. It can handle that kind of stuff, and you need to have a recorder that like is like fail safe. And
it's like the tech of it doesn't really matter as long as the audio sounds good.
As long as the dialogue is clean and you're getting your ISO tracks, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
You want clean tracks and you want it all there recorded.
Have you ever had like a lot of producers will be like, oh, we only shoot on Sonys, and then you're like, oh, okay. Have you ever had a producer be like, oh, I only like my recordings on?
Yeah, I know.
Only use Shure mics. Yeah.
That kind of brings me to that world of like reality TV, especially those like union reality TV shows where like it's like a union sound supervisor who has like 10 sound kits, and he makes the TV show
rent them
all for like the duration of the month or two, and then you just hire operators to show up. And it's just like a lot of times it's just like a bunch of recorders in bags, and you're like, okay, you're on team whatever, and you're just gonna record.
Alpha Squad.
And it's like, those like, like Hell's Kitchen or something like that. It's like 10 contestants, 15 contestants, I don't know. And there's like, you're just assigned to a thing, and it's shooting all the time. And you just show up, it's all set up for you. You just do it. Just let's record and monitor everything. And then this guy is just making bank.
Yeah.
Because he owns all the gear and he's not doing anything. But it's smart. Like
he's coordinating.
If I had 10 sound kits, I did the same thing. And obviously, like, he's making sure everything sounds good. He's probably involved with the post,
He's vetting the people he's hiring.
He's vetting the people he's hiring, because like you can't monitor 10 kits, 10 teams. So you just have to put trust in the operators.
So there's something to be said. Like the prep for that is probably the big part.
The prep is big.
When you're getting,
making sure you know how to use the gear.
When you get a job, what's your prep normally like? Do you get days on like a commercial? Like if you scout, like
it's very rare. Some jobs, like on those like 1 day, 2 day, commercial jobs or like whatever docu-style type of jobs. Anything that's non-narrative. It's rare if I get like a prep day or like a load-in day
or a scout.
Yeah, there are days. I had this one job where like it was a location that wasn't great for sound, and for some reason, like no matter where they put client was not. It just made the context sound like horrible. It was just like static. Mm-hmm. It was like even I was like, yeah, I can't be like it's the way it is.
In a fair.
No, this is bad. Like I have to fix this, right? But like they had like this massive prep day where it was like I think it was like they had like 3 or 4 cameras going, this huge lighting setup. It was a big thing, and they had like and then they were still tweaking the next day, and I only had like an hour. And then right when I was ready to roll, like, get my shit ready, they're like, oh, it's not working, like the context. It just took forever. I had to like reroute. But like I didn't have like this whole cart because I was by myself. So I had to like and I had like things hardlined to cameras and onto the booms and whatnot. And I had to literally just like unplug everything, move myself closer to client. And then because no matter what I did, I changed channels, and like it made it slow down. I was like, everything I did, I just like was not working. It just sounded bad. But the second I put the transmitter right next to them, it sounded fine. So I just had to like
So
run.
it wasn't even what you were recording sounded bad. It's just what they heard.
It was just for some reason that was just not working. And it was just, and like I never, every once in a while you just have to like tweak a little bit of the contact and you're fine. The rest of the day you're good. But for some reason, just this one location, I just would not get a good signal. And it was like, even for me to be like, yeah, I can't be like, oh. It's the Comtech ghost.
Nice. I mean, how often are you able to fight for an extra person for that kind of thing? Or it's like you don't find out until
if it's
day
union,
of,
you can, because I think it's 52 standard is you have to have 2 persons on a union sound job. You have to, unless you're like not wiring or doing anything crazy. Like
you're not doing sound.
Well, I had one job where it was a big union set, but they wanted a BTS team, but for whatever reason, BTS team had to be union also.
That makes sense.
Which makes sense, but I've also been on union jobs where I'm the BTS team, and like we didn't have to be union. We had permission to be there because the BTS team wasn't affiliated. Like they just were like.
Oh, it's like it's a different budget. It's their marketing budget.
Yeah, and I guess they could just hire like a videographer to show up and like film a little bit, sign an NDA and whatever, right? But like for some reason on this job, they were like even the BTS crew has to be union, and I was like, yeah, whatever, it's all good. So we did it, and they were like, but I was like, I thought I had to have like a boom up for a 52 job. But they were like, you're just going to boom like maybe one line. You're not going to wire. You're not going to do anything. Huh. You're just going to be there with your boom and that's it. And I was like, okay, cool. And like they didn't even have like a tripod. Nothing. They just had a camera, hanging on it.
Maybe because they already have a sound for the shoot, you count as a third guy, not a second crew.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I guess that was just like a separate crew. I don't know, but I was very curious about how that worked because like if it's a 52 job, but I guess they have like workarounds. I don't know. But yeah, I just had a boom and a recorder and that's it. And like I jammed the one camera they had to match it with time code and that's it. Like I didn't have any, and they were just like, yeah, because you're just gonna. Literally, we were just like on standby. Just hanging around this set until we had a moment to capture this social thing. For social media.
It was like a very specific thing they wanted.
A union social video.
Yeah, it was like not just for the union. It was like this. It was like some big artists they were filming. It was a big commercial. Like
they needed a union crew to make like a TikTok.
No. We were just waiting on the set to grab the talent.
Got it.
To film them real quick.
I was like, damn.
And I was like, this is for like social media for like some production company. Why we didn't have to.
I mean, every movie.
We didn't have to be a union, but like it was just interesting that like okay, like they made sure that even BTS was union. That's kind of cool because I got my hours, I got my I didn't complain, but like, I was a little weirded out. I was like, what do you mean? Okay, cool. Like I wasn't bothered by it, but it was just very interesting because usually those kind of jobs are like you're there for like an hour, you get what you need, and they want you out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. But
I'm always jealous of sound guys like there's some days like well it's like some days like
yeah, dude.
Wait
we'll
to hear what he
exactly
says
what
first.
he's saying. I know exactly what he's saying.
you're gonna have like a pre-call, and then if you're like in lighting or your camera, you're there early, and then it could be like 5 or 6 hours go by, and then all of a sudden this dude just shows up with a backpack, and like you're like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm a sound guy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
your call time was 6 hours after our call. So you come in, you get lunch, and then the shoot, and then like the shoot's over, and there's a bunch of tabletop stuff now, and you're like, cool, and I'm done.
Yeah, that happened to me earlier this week on Wednesday. And it was great. The producer said the same question. He's like, wow, your call time was little. Like, I showed up. They even unloaded my things out of the truck. That was so nice of them. It was there waiting for me. The second I just opened my Pelican, it was a very simple job. It was like a boom and love job situation, quick commercial thing, and I set up my stuff, and they're like, okay, that's lunch. And I was like, great. The second I plug everything and I jam everything, I'm ready to roll. They're like, lunch. I was like, great. Come back, we roll my lines, and then that was it. Those jobs are great because it's just like they just want like a few clean lines of dialogue. They even want you to do like the VO and the wild lines offset, and then that's it.
Is there ever the opposite of that, like where you just get absolutely obliterated as a sound guy, and the other team is like leaving?
I feel like when I do like crazy fashion-esque or beauty product, I don't know. Like I did this one job where it's like it was just a schedule because like the higher the talent, like the more famous they are, things fall behind, the schedule switches around, and then
you only have them for an hour.
Yeah, or like you might not even get what you need to record. You have to be ready for that too because I think things, especially when they mix like photo session and then the video session, and they you guys are fighting for it. But then things fall behind, or they're late, or like makeup took forever. It's always going to be something going on with these like bigger jobs, and that's kind of where I'm like, okay, yeah, I should just be here all 12 hours because they're saying I'm going to be rolling around 10 a.m., 11 a.m., but my call time is 7 a.m. Why am I coming here so early? But then they're like, hey, you know what? We had this emergency, so now we're going to roll at 8:30 with you guys. And it's like, okay, that makes sense, because you're ready to change. But a lot of times I'll just do these jobs where like it's not going to happen. It's like not a famous actor. It's like a regular commercial job, and you show up and you're sitting around for hours and hours and hours not doing anything.
It's almost like being on retainer.
Yeah, and like most times I don't care. I'll read my book or I'll play my Switch or something. but yeah, it's you just have to be ready to go because that's the thing. They just want to have the audio ready to go right away, and if you have no attitude about it and you're just chill, they're happy to have you there. Yeah. I've seen mixers get grumpy. They're like, this is a waste of my time. You're wasting my time. I'm like, well, dude.
You're getting paid.
You're getting paid.
Right. It's not like if you don't hit record, you don't get your money. Like you showed
up.
Yeah.
You showed up already. So you're getting paid for the day. You unloaded your stuff. Mm-hmm. The gate of the truck opened. Everyone's getting paid. It's like the truck opened. Everyone's getting paid. It's like, relax. But I don't know. I get it. Maybe people just want to like do stuff with their lives. I don't know. But
there's never like
I've done jobs where it's like I literally walk in and like within 30 minutes I'm like, okay, cool, thanks for having me, guys. I'm out, and the grips are like fucking sound, just like come in and out, first to leave, last to show up, first to leave sometimes, But then I've done jobs where like this is where I always feel bad and I always hate it. I don't know if they use wild lines after jobs, like I don't know, maybe they do, so maybe they do those like VOs I record, but it's always at the end of the fucking day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And it's like, all right, we're rolling VO. Can we hold the work? And it's like, dude, we've just wrapped a 14-hour day.
12 departments trying to load out.
Yeah. Can you please be quiet when you pack that C-stand? And I feel bad, but at the same time, like the producers are making me do this. Like, I don't feel bad, but like I feel bad for you guys.
Do you ever say that? Like instead of hey guys, be quiet, just say like they scheduled this, please respect them.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just pass the buck.
I always feel bad because it's like I feel like because I try to be like, hey, let's go somewhere far. Like if we're like in a studio stage place or like on a lot somewhere, I'll try to be like, hey, let's go like find an office so like they can work and we can just do our thing and no one's bothering each other. Or like I've even offered like.
You ever do it in their trailer?
I've even done it in a trailer, or like if they don't have a trailer, like let's get in a fucking pass van and like record the lines, and it's for the most part you get it. But I've always wondered like
the Porta-John.
Do they actually use the fucking VO log lines, you know, or do they just make the recorded
must,
set audio
well,
work?
no,
I don't know.
I guess they're not necessarily wide lines, but one of my favorite things is when you get that over the shoulder shot and you can tell that like their jaw isn't moving.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
and for
I
some
love
reason
seeing
that character
but
said
you still
something.
hear
You're like,
yeah,
they didn't
that's
do
good for
it.
the edit. Yeah. I hate when I notice that because I'm like, oh damn, I'm one of those people. Now.
I feel like that's
that
the
I
most
can't help but look
common-
at it.
yeah.
All the time, all the damn time.
I kind of don't mind noticing that because I'm like, no one else notices.
No one
this
else.
but
Yeah,
us.
but us, you know. That's the thing. Yeah, after becoming a sound guy, it has ruined watching.
Looking for the
movies.
boom.
Not even looking for boom. Just like watching a movie in my house. I'm like a crazy person now.
What's the okay? So like one of my
I can't like have the AC on. People can't be eating.
God.
you know?
for you personally.
Yeah, it's like
Just,
because like I'm sitting there trying to watch the movie and like the dialogue is like so low because like for whatever reason on the TVs, you know, the whole low dialogue,
The
but loud
explosion's always
explosion, loud
way-
music. So I'm like constantly changing it. But then like the dialogue's happening and I'm trying to watch the movie and I just hear someone just like eating and like and they're like they
you
don't
don't-
care. They're like in their world and I'm just like
So you don't go to the theater.
because I think it's just I'm so trained to just like look out for bad things happening
Yeah.
that like while I'm watching a movie, I hear someone crunch like, oh, "Can you stop?"
But it's not in the movie.
rolling.
That's
like,
not in the movie. It's like Jose, you're not recording sound right now. Like, that person's allowed to have popcorn next to you.
So I was gonna say it's like for in the lighting world, I feel like the biggest thing you notice is like the wide shot. It's like all dark and moody, and then they punch in for the close up, and it's like this perfectly lit fucking. You're like, that is not the same. That guy
it's
moved.
true.
He's not there anymore. Like,
Yeah.
is there a sound equivalent?
There is. I love noticing little things, or like I love noticing the wires in the clothes.
Oh, you see them?
I'll see it sometimes, or I'll just see it like like an outline or something, or the mic pack somewhere for like a hot second, on a wide. You can just see it like, sticking out, and then they cut away to it. Like I love those little things because like there's my mistake. Great, just like how did I not see that? It's like damn it.
A Yelp review for sound.
But
guy.
like,
You,
but then
look
you're
up the
like,
mixer and-
I think we did that take like 10 times, and I used that one with the mic pack sticking out.
Right.
Like, damn it, Like,
They probably there's probably a world where like they didn't even notice
they
it.
probably didn't notice either, and that's kind of what happens because like they left it in, But
Like how you're saying that the sound is horrible, and they're like, "Move on." And you're
moving on,
"How
you're
the
like, how did you
fuck?"
not notice that? Like there was like all these things going on in the background. We have to go again. It's just like did not get that clean, It happens. I don't know. I guess because you're either in the space and you hear it happening at the same time that you don't notice it. But like it is grateful. I am grateful for like before I could even say something, like the 80s, like, yo, like let's get quiet, come on, or even the director would say something. So that's always great, And for the most part, they're like aware, like, oh yeah, that was bad, let's do it again. But it's always funny when it's like how did you not realize that was bad?
Can you confirm? Like, there's a lot of times that like a PA will get sent over to a department. Is it the sound department telling the PA, like telling the first AD, or is it just the first AD being overly caught? Because there's no fucking way some of those microphones could pick up. Like,
You'd be surprised.
I don't think I would.
Here's the thing.
I think they're all lying to us.
it's not like I
We'll
can
never know because no one wants to do the job.
yeah, unless you want to like on one day we're on set and we're rolling a scene. I'll be like, hey, come over here real quick. See that? You hear that? It's your fucking guys. I told them to shut the fuck up. It's just like, that's your fucking best boy right there, dude. It's just like no. It's not like I can. I mean, sometimes you'll hear the chat or whatever, but it's just more like it's like we're like. And it's always like right when like the actor's having like a really like emotional sequence and like it's like super dead quiet, and of course you start hearing little things and you're kind of like, we're not on a stage, we're like in a creaky house and you hear someone like upstairs walking because they're like prepping or something, I don't know, and you just hear things happening. But like on the indie movies, it's usually no matter what, indies or majors, you go up to like an AD and be like, yo, we need to get quiet on set, Usually like the mixer will tell me if I'm booming or like, hey, go tell the AD like that was bad for sound, we gotta lock it up, But on indie movies, I'll do that. But like if I can't see the AD, I'll go to like a key PA or like a PA and be like, yo, bro, like tell him to be quiet.
Right.
And tell him I said it. Tell him I said to shut up.
There's like I guess where's the line of who's allowed to talk?
I don't know. I guess
Are you above the line?
If
Oh,
you're,
that's why I like. Do you yell?
I
at
think
the,
it's
do you
just
yell at the director? Do you yell at the?
I've never done that, but if Village is talking or like if the director's talking during a take, I'd be like, hey, just like there's like people talking during that take. It's up to you. Village was a little
You
loud.
don't go, you were
I don't go,
talking
you
during
ruined the take, bro. You were talking it. I don't think I've ever had a director though be like talking during a take, unless
I worked on a show where the
purpose.
director played music during every take.
Yeah, I've done a job. I've had directors like that to do. It's tough. It all depends on what they do. They sometimes are pretty good with like, okay, can we do a take where it's playing the entire time, and then we'll do another take where it's like he'll play it, and then right when the dialogue starts, he'll cut the music. And
But that's him. He gets to.
yeah. But that's also an indie movie, If it's a union job, that's a
Playback guy. Yeah, that's another job.
That's a playback guy, and you need to have a conversation with that guy. But I don't know. It all depends. I did a movie where like the director did that a lot. He loved to play so much music, moody music, over a lot of sequences. And if there's no dialogue, all I do is like, hey, just so you know,
there's no dialogue. Why are you there?
You want to hear the footsteps. You want to hear the cabinet opening,
You want to hear the music.
You want to hear it go, ugh, You want to hear the actor make a dumb joke about the director or something. I don't know. I'm just there because moral support, okay?
Oh.
You're there to catch what the actor says offset.
Literally.
There are interesting
I'm just there for reference.
I'm curious, how often did they try to fire like the sound department on A Quiet Place? Like when there's entire.
But I feel like the quieter a movie, the more sound.
Yeah, because you need to. It's hard to replicate that sound because of where you are, the location. You can't use the same sound like background on every scene.
Can't you?
Nothing's like quiet.
Maybe you can. I'm sure Tommy Wiseau or somebody like that has.
But that's what I'm curious about. Like it's one of those things. It's like do you think the average consumer actually recognizes that?
I think so. I've
think
I've even gone to like really like low budget film festivals that no one goes to, and it's just like the entire audience is like the actors and their families, and like the filmmaker, like nobody outside of the production showed up. Those kind of festivals, and I've had like random people be like, "Wow, that sound is shit." So like they didn't like the movie.
No, well, hold on. Shit sound is different. Than like if you are doing a whatever, there's 30 locations and they all happen to sound the same. Do you think somebody actually noticed it? It's like the way that like.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. I think so. Oh yeah, it's going to be. I probably would, but not immediately, but eventually.
Because I feel like there's a lot of time like TV shows and stuff like that. At daytime.
Yeah.
There's a light out the window and it's always in the same spot. It doesn't matter if it's 11 a.m. or 4 p.m. In real life.
Yeah.
That moves.
That's just the way they do it. In real life it does move. Yeah. In sound, it's rare, but sometimes you'll notice like, oh, they use that same sound effect, that same scream. The
Wilhelm scream.
The Wilhelm scream, you hear it. I still hear it to this day.
There's also like a cheer that I hear people using in the movie. There's always a guy that's going, woo, woo.
Certain wallas, certain like little like ambient sounds of people, city sounds and whatnot.
It's always the one for me is always the boom.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now, everyone loves having their.
It's just like in every fucking.
Their Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
But like also, I would think that even if you are shooting at different locations, to you they might sound the same. But I don't think every location.
No, definitely not. I'm sure because you have music, you have sound effects, but like I think only like if you're looking for it, you're gonna hear it.
So we let people send in questions one time, and this is a good time to ask one because I know somebody wanted to know. How often is room tone actually used?
I love this question
and versus like how often does the sound guy just like making everybody stand still for a minute?
Oh my God!
Like, do you actually use the room tone?
That is a question for editors and directors.
Well, what's an appropriate length?
I've had editors tell me I never record more than 30 seconds, and within that 30 seconds. 20 seconds is probably usable because the first 5 or 10 seconds is people still settling down.
Right.
And then my pre-roll's also going, so I got extra for no reason. And then like maybe towards in the end or in the middle, like a little sound happens, so you keep it going. But like I've had editors tell me that like they'll use the room tone during a take when there's like a lull.
Yeah.
Or like we're holding for something and it's like quiet for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
They'll just like use that.
That's what I've heard. Like,
and then a lot of times they're like, I don't even bother looking at room tone anymore. I did that major with Mike, and we never recorded room tone.
Just because they would find the
we just
spots
didn't do. I think we did it maybe once or twice, but like I've done movies where like even the 80s are on top of it, and they're like, okay, everyone, quiet room tone, and I'm like, whoa, that's awesome.
Like,
I didn't ask for it, but like, okay, cool, But yeah, I've done jobs where like the producer would be like, hey, let's get room tone. I'm like, cool, you want room tone? I'll give you the room tone. Are you going to use it?
Can you explain what it's for people that might not know?
For people who don't know who room tone is, it's just so you can use it when you lay it over other. So if you have like a scene where you're filming, you know, and people are talking and you have like intercuts, you just have this one track of ambience. So like you don't hear the pitch change in the background, and you just have this like constant sound in the back where like even if you're changing different angles or different sounds, you're not going to hear it change. If you didn't have the room tone, you'd hear like the slight pitch change.
And the idea is that like, you know, if you're in the living room and it's got 15 lights on, it sounds different than if you're in the kitchen and there's 2 lights on.
And what I like about room tone too is sometimes if you have certain like hums or white noises,
dimmers,
it's good for a bad location, because if you have a noisy exterior, those sounds can help drown it out. And then in post, you can clean that sound out easily. Versus, okay, you got rid of the hum, but now you hear everything, you know, 34th Street outside.
Is that a thing? Or can you use a room tone to kind of remove? Like,
I've heard people ask for room tone so they can use it as like a reference.
Find the frequencies.
Like they put it into like some kind of software that like finds that sound and gets rid of it.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
So
it's like the noise canceling.
Yeah, they're like, hey, get a room tone of this weird sound because we're gonna clean it later. But we need like a clean recording of the sound itself, so they can let their AI post software listen to it and then look for it in the tracks and get rid of it. I've heard of that. I don't know if that's true or not, but like AI cleaning now with sound, it's like pretty scary. You can do a lot of cool stuff.
These people don't like the word AI. Don't say
AI.
that.
These people.
I mean, that's definitely like I could see like if you're doing wild lines, there's probably like a certain amount of lines. If they said them, they'd be okay, we can train an AI to make them say anything.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
No, for sure. Oh, there's definitely it's like there's sentences you can say that like cover every sound, like the shape of sound that one person would say.
Right.
You know,
shape
so it's like
sound is.
Well, I'm trying. I don't know what to. But it's like the
sound.
Like
sound is meant to be seen, not heard.
It's like E A O U. You know, what I'm trying to say. It's like all the different like ways that you would pronounce the A letter, all the different ways you would pronounce the C letter, like stuff like that. And so then they can piece together the sounds you would make to say whatever.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they take those sounds and just like add it in, so you don't ever have anything clipped.
Well, isn't that like there's there's a woman that is the voice of Siri, and it's like this woman just lives in the world, and if she talks, people are like, "Are you my iPhone?
Are you?"
But I think
those
that's what they did.
Voices,
they had her record like however many sentences so that they could make it say anything they wanted.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've seen people do that with like celebrity, like cameo AI stuff. Like they can just like give them a prompt to say, and it sounds just like the voice of that celebrity or whoever famous person. And like obviously the lips don't match, but like the fact that you can like get someone's voice,
that's illegal,
and make them say anything is kind of awesome.
It's not illegal.
I had.
It's not illegal. That's the fucking craziest thing.
You could just make really funny videos now.
You can fucking do that. It's totally
up.
legit.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Since you brought up social, like what's as a sound mixer, it's like, you know, you spend all this time like hiding this lav.
Yeah.
And then now it's just like the thing is just
like
here's
the influencers.
Yeah, they use it like a tiny mic.
Yeah, I've noticed the big one now is like those like Rode, like those like little black boxes.
Yeah.
They just like clip on their like neck. It has like a little furry on it. And like, yeah, I guess it just records the audio on it. You just take the USB out of it, or like the micro SD, I guess. You just plug it in, it's there. Lavs do that too. Some lavs do that, where you can just like, in case your recorder craps out, the lav itself is recording, and there's like a card in there.
Oh, it's like an internal thing.
So in case like, you know, something happens to your recorder or like an ISO got fucked up, the actual lav has like an SD card in there that you can just like,
I mean, that's got to be nice in case like there's any kind of interference.
I agree.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, bad RF. I know with Zaxxon you can do that, where it's like if you had like a really bad RF situation, you just like re-record the lav onto the track.
Interesting.
And it just does that. But that's like that's why they're their own themselves, because they have that patent for themselves.
Do you think that kind of thing,
like, do that only.
But now that people are so used to seeing mics and like, I don't know, we'll say a fitness influencer or whatever, they all just put their mic like on. Does that?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they do that. I mean, back in the day, it was like you just hide the mic and clip it behind them, you know. Yeah. Or I've even like now, and then like as things got better, you have like super tiny lavs that people just like hide in their chest somewhere, and a lot of times if it's just too much, I just don't even bother laving. I'll just like boom it, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those jobs, they want to do VO or wild. So I kind of sometimes I'm like, why am I wiring? You know.
Yeah.
But I get it. You want to get it good on the spot because you never know.
But we've done like social videos, and they're like, it's more authentic when you have the little tiny microphone.
It's
to,
like-
I love when they hold the lav.
Yeah.
I've seen like those. What's that guy with the Metro card? He like puts.
Yeah.
He like clips the lav onto the Metro card.
Yeah,
and he's holding the
Subway
Metro card.
takes?
Yeah, that guy. And he just holds the Metro card, and you just see the lav. It's so. I love that. But when they hold the lav, like actual, like that just cracks
That
me
is,
up.
I guess,
It's so funny. They're just like talking into it. Like
It would
this.
be
It's
it would
so
be interesting
funny.
to like do like a feature about an influencer.
That'd be fun.
And it's like
yeah.
so you can like you
And
you
all
can
the
put
audio is
mic
just like he's talking
everywhere,
like this
yeah.
everywhere he goes. He's just talking
yeah.
like this.
I mean, it was
That'd
like,
be funny.
It might
Why
make your
not?
job easier.
Everyone,
It's like-
all the cast are just talking like this the whole time. Yeah.
Everyone has their
But
own
you still have
lav.
to
Yeah.
boom it.
I still have
Yeah,
to. boom it
100%,
there. Still got to
100%.
boom it.
You're like, this is a cart job.
Art job. I'm still having all the wires, but imagine telling the boom house like, hey, so you're not gonna wire. Just give them the pack and the wire. That's it. Just give it to them.
let them figure it
Let them
out.
figure it out. What
It's
do you
more
mean?
authentic
Just
that way.
give it to them.
It's more authentic.
We're all gonna hold it like this.
Another user question.
Okay.
If we want to. What's something to ask your sound guy when you're hiring them to make sure they actually know what the fuck they're doing?
Ooh.
Like, is there anything that like?
I don't know. I haven't had to worry about that in a very long time because I just know so many good mixers now. But I'm trying to, like back in the day when like I was still like starting out and like trying to figure out a replacement for myself or someone I can work with. Yeah, my biggest questions were just like what kind of gear you're using, and if you have like a sophisticated recorder, I feel like for a sound guy, you're like, okay, yeah, you know what you're doing, versus like a rich NYU bro who like has a red camera because mommy bought it for him, and it's like, well, are you a DP though? But I feel like with sound, it's like you wouldn't buy a specific recorder and not know what
You
to
don't
do
think
with
so?
it. I mean, there's a 1% chance, there's a small chance, I'm sure, but
So there are really nice mixers out there that are or they're just expensive mixers that are bad.
I've met a lot of all kinds of mixers, but yeah, there's some nice ones out there who like know what they're doing, and like have like a good kit. But yeah, I always ask, what do you use? Because like for me, it's more like when I want to replace myself or I have to like, have like a colleague that I can share work with. It's like, do you have the same mics as me? Do you have the same, layout or track layout for me? Can you provide these services like, reports and, multi-track layouts or like crazy, outs and ins, like, can you do that? I don't care what you use as long as like, the mics are the same.
I mean, if you're replacing yourself for a day, do you expect them like? Do you
Well,
leave your
usually I'll
kit?
leave my gear, yeah, like, and it'll just come and operate. If it's like a feature or something, that's kind of how it works. But sometimes if it's like a commercial where it's like it's 2 days, I'm doing the first day, and I'm gonna give somebody else the job. Like, yeah, I'll just take my stuff and leave,
Right.
But it's rare if I leave my stuff. It's only on narrative movies where it's like, hey, my stuff's gonna be there, or if I'm like leaving the job for good, and I need somebody to like take over the last week, then yeah, you bring your own kit and you negotiate what you want.
How important is it to like, or how easy is it to figure out how to use someone else's kit? Like, are a lot of are they pretty similar? Like,
it's yes and no. It's all about like the ins and outs and like the sub menus. It's all a preference of like how you like to record sound, and some people are just. It's all about like what you started on, and usually whatever you started on, you kind of like go with that. Some people start with one thing and they prefer something else and they go with that. It all depends on who you are. But in terms of like what the product should be or the final result, it's going to be the same thing no matter what. It's just a matter of like what the menu's like,
right, what the file's labeled.
Yeah, and how it's labeled and how it's done, And like I know how to do Mike taught me how to use Zaxcom. I avoided Zaxcom my whole life until like a few years ago, and then his whole cart's a Zaxcom cart, and I got to learn that, on the synthetic films, and then like, mix a bunch on that, and it was pretty cool. But I've always been a sound devices kid, because that's what I had at SVA, and then at Lakota, the production company that Joe and Mike had. I'm always just like working with them with that kind of stuff and that kind of gear, and I love those recorders. Sound devices just makes it super. It's you can find everything easily and it's ready to go. It makes it's very user friendly. Zaxcom is cool once you know how to use it, but like it took me a while. I was like, dude, what the fuck is all these fucking menus? And to do one simple thing would have taken me 2 seconds on the sound devices. But then but it's all a matter of like how you do it and like what your workflow is. But There's no hate to Zaxcom. You guys are cool. Don't worry. but I got to learn on that recorder, and it was like there's a lot of Zaxcom technology that I like. You know, that's pretty cool. Like the receivers are all built into the recorder. So you just have it's like a big recorder and everything's in it. You just turn on the lavs.
Oh, so like every channel.
The lavs are connected to the recorder, yeah, because the receivers are in it, and it could be like an 8 receiver or 16.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they have different versions, but it's fucking cool.
Huh.
So you don't have to like buy a receiver and transmitter. You just buy the lavs.
And they're all compatible, or you have to buy theirs?
I don't know. They're all no. Their products are compatible with their products.
Yeah, so it's okay.
Because they have a lot of patents. Like they could do some really cool stuff
like
that
Apple.
only their stuff can do.
ecosystem.
Yeah,
it's like it's the Apple
It's
of
like
sound
Apple,
equipment.
Yeah. Whereas like sound devices can work with all kinds of.
Uh-huh.
You can plug in whatever you want to that recorder.
Okay.
But like Zaxcom, it's like you have to like be careful with like what you're doing. They would prefer it's like because it's all part of like the net, the Zax net, so it all works with that. But
The Zaxnet?
Zaxnet,
Zax.
digital audio, bro. Not RF. Well, it is RF, but it's a whole thing. But
High def RF.
it's high
just sound.
It's just sound. No, it's just sound, guys. It's just sound. It's just sound waves. Who cares?
It's just sound.
Does it sound good? Good. That's all. No.
Moving on.
Moving on, right? No, it's all a matter of like vetting people. It's just about like with sound guys. It's like if they're always gonna fight for like their kit. Like I'm gonna come on the job. I want my equipment on it. But like if you're friends with somebody and you need a favor, there are sound guys you call. They're like, hey, listen, it's my gear. Can you come and just do it real quick? And they'll be like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So it all depends on who you know and like what people are comfortable with. But usually the politics, it's like, yeah, if you're jumping off and you're not having your gear lit, the sound guy just gets what he wants. Because he has his own workflow and his own way of doing things, And like every sound mixer, I'm sure, is great at what they do, but they may not do it the same way I do it, And it's just what it is, But
it is what it is.
It is what it is. But yeah, the vetting process for me isn't really terrible now because
now you just know people.
I just know people now. Yeah. But when I was starting out, it was interesting trying to figure out like, because it's one thing if you have the gear, but then your attitude's so important, dude.
Is it a lot of like when?
Yeah, dude.
I think
it's like I've had people hit me up being like, "Yo, that guy was horrible. He was such a dick,"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, like what?" Like that's like the easiest job in the world, and he had a hard time. Like, why was he in it? And I feel bad, but.
Especially with like a travel job.
Yeah, I know. And you like feel bad because you want to make sure that they're not screwed over. And then the producer's like, that was like a really difficult person to deal with. And I was like, ooh. So it was a lot of trial and error and vetting people. But
I guess that because it reflects on you. Because if you
because I'm like, and it's weird because like sometimes I've had some contacts where it's like some clients, no problem. They like this person. And other clients are like, don't ever give me that person ever again.
They're racist. That's why.
They're racist.
That's why they work with some people.
That's so funny. But no, I don't know. It's just I think attitude's important. When I was starting out, I boomed for a lot of people. And
is booming like a good way to like?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like
I'd say that's how I started. I was booming in utilitying, for all kinds of people, and I've learned. I've met all kinds of mixers, and I've learned their style. Who's grumpy? Who's micromanaging, who's very chill and like trusts you to do stuff.
Yeah. Can you break down what is what's a utility's job?
So you have a utility who basically moves the carts around, helps set up everything, set up the cart for the mixer, places everything, on set, sets everything up, gets power to you, runs cable, just basically doing everything that the mixer needs them to do.
They're the ones in charge of like the AAA batteries.
Yeah, running batteries, being the second boom, it all depends what you're doing. But you're just basically you're just doing all the odd ends of little things, running batteries, charging things, running little things, specific things. Yep. The boom op is usually the guy, usually the person on set who kind of like, dictates what's going on, like he watches rehearsal, he tells the mixer like, yo, like this is going to happen, we're going to like boom here. It's a single boom, or I'll need Jose to come in with a second boom here, or like, can't get the booms there. This is wire city only. And then when they're here, the booms will come in and the mixer is like, okay, cool. And that was like a big wake up call for me because when I was booming, I thought I was like, okay, cool, I'm just chilling.
You just go
waiting for the mixer to tell me what to do, and then the mixer's like, okay, what are we doing? And I'm like, what? I was like, what? So it was like,
I wouldn't think that. Yeah, that kind of is
because I learned, and I learned that it's like, oh yeah, the mixer, is far away from set,
right?
So he has no idea what's
but
going on.
I mean, that could be the difference.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there are plenty of boom ops that don't do that shit.
Yeah.
But that's what separates
But,
you as
yeah, absolutely.
somebody that they would want to rehire.
I hope so. I hope so. I think communication's important and being very clear, with telling like what's going on. I think also just having foresight of like, oh, that's gonna happen, so I'm gonna do this to prevent it, and then the mixer's like, oh, cool, good thing we did that, I was like, yeah, because things like that, because he may not be able to notice something on set, but you're there, and you're like, oh, that's gonna happen, But yeah, the mixer, even though he's king of the castle, which is a great job, you sit there, you have monitor, you're listen to everything, but it's a team effort, the mixer relies on his peeps to like make sure they're like there, making sure everything's good to go. And relaying information.
Is it just those three positions? Or we mentioned
it's usually,
before.
It's the common, for tier movies, it's like mixer and boom op. Sometimes you get a utility. On the majors, it could be more. It could be a 5-person team, a mixer and 2 boom ops and utility. But usually, I did a major with Mike earlier this year, and it was just me as utility, and like I would be boom 2 sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they'll bring in the playback mixer on certain days, and we'll have like a 4 or 5-person team sometimes. But yeah, it all depends on your budget. I've heard of teams that had like 3 boom operators, and one
that's just because
mixer.
of a big cast.
Yeah,
kind of
big
thing,
cast.
or?
Or I feel like those Marvel movies where it's like 2 or 3 mixers and like
Running
10
through
boom
rooms
ops because like those outfits are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you may not be able to wire, maybe you can, but you just have to make sure there's a boom on everybody. Those ensembles. You have the budget to have multiple, bigger sound teams. But for the most part, most movies are done with like a 3-person sound team, maybe 2 usually 2, but like on the indie non-union, it's just like a mixer and boom op, and that's it.
Is it most common for the utility to be doing the wiring, or is that
the boom op on a union job? It's usually the boom op, but sometimes the mixer. I've had mixers where like I do the wiring. And I'm like, cool, no problem.
Is there like prestige in being the person that deals with the actors?
I think it's I don't know about prestige. I think it's more about can you be, not weird. Can you not be weird? Yeah. It's an intimate thing to have to wire actors.
I think it's just an intimate thing in general. You're like, hey, I just met you. Let me touch you.
This is me. And like I always ask, like, what do you prefer? Do you want to like do it yourself, and I can like help you, And you have actors who are like, oh, I don't care, like just do it,
Grab it, go.
Other actors are like, oh, let me
Yank
do
it,
let me help, But like it's been great where like they understand the process too, but then you're always gonna have that one actor who's like gonna make it a whole thing, and you just gotta go with it,
Who's the one actor?
You want me? The one actor.
Are you allowed to say?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Do you want to say?
I don't know. I mean,
you can say no.
I'll say no.
What movie was this?
What movie was it?
What number were they on?
Everyone's gonna look at my IMDb now and be like, "Oh, well, it has to be this or this." But no, you just have actors, who are, and I get it. They just want to not be touched, and I get it, dude. Like, just it's fine. All I need is just put it right there and hide it right there. How you do that is up to you. But just have it there for me. That's it, And that's all you can do. That's all you can ask for. And then obviously they can wire themselves, and then they're on set. It's easier to like fix it, when it's already placed, and you just gotta do like an adjustment. That's way better usually. But you have some actors who are like high maintenance, and they don't want to be touched or bothered. And you kind of have this like once you get to know them a little bit, you're like, okay, cool. With this actor, I have to make sure I wire it perfectly the first time, and then that's it because they don't want to look at you, they don't want to be touched. They're very busy. Mm-hmm. And then you have other actors where you're just like, okay, I can trial and error this outfit because I'm not sure this is gonna work for me or the mixer. But let's go with this for now because they want to do that. And then if you want to like change it or fix it, they're usually like, okay, cool, yeah, sorry, let's do it this way instead. So it's all a matter of how you talk to the actors, how you approach them.
Your vibe.
It's important. Attitude's so important. And I've even had mixers, producers who are like, the mixer can give me like okay audio, but I'll hire that person because I like their vibe. Mm-hmm. And if I can use it, it's usable, then whatever, And that's a shame because you should be doing good work. But at the same time, it's a bummer that like a really good mixer is losing jobs because like.
Because they're mean.
They're mean.
Is it though? If they just are being dicks though.
But that's the thing. Like it's very valid to fight for good audio and like just talk about what's going on and make like, hey, this is a problem, right? But like there is a line where you have to like just. Die. Some mixers just die on that hill, and it's like, well,
of being an asshole.
Yeah, I don't know about being an asshole, but like just just like fighting for something that you're not gonna get it, So all you can do is just do the best you can, just record it and then figure it out later.
Yeah.
But then you have mixers who are like, will start holding grudges. And, you know, you hear all these nightmare stories. Every time I work with somebody new, like, oh, my God, you're so cool. You're amazing. My last guy did blah, 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 blah. And you're like, I don't know why they did that. But that sucks. And obviously, you know, you don't know. Maybe the producer was in the wrong and they're just talking shit. I don't know, you know. That's true. For all I know, the mixer was great. But because they had a tiff, all of a sudden the producer is giving me their perspective. And I don't know if that person was in the wrong and the mixer was in the right. I don't know. But, like, I've gotten a lot of jobs because I've been there with mixers and being guilty by association. Much older guys, the older ones, who like get really pissed off about the littlest things. And you're like, all right, we can work around this, you know. There's a way to talk about it, there's a way to approach it. Yeah. And I think that goes a long way. Because even if you don't get what you want, at least it was brought up and you're not gonna get in trouble for it. And they're gonna find a way to fix it.
So how do you, like, what are there tips to remaining chill on set? Are you just high
chill?
all the
Yeah,
time?
don't get high. Oh my God, yeah, just smoke a lot of weed.
That brings us up THC seltzers.
Right? That's also another sound stereotype, right? We're either alcoholics or stoners, right? Yeah. And metalheads apparently, right? Failed musicians, which is hello. But yeah, I don't know. Just good attitude, man. I would just never. I always tell the producer, like, listen, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be fine. We're making a movie here. We're not saving lives.
It's a diaper commercial.
Yeah, or even that. Even if we're not making a movie and it's a commercial, it's like it's gonna be fine, you know. So yeah, I don't believe in yelling or being crazy or like even when we're rolling sound, you know, and it's like they're being loud. Depending on the situation, I might be like, yo, like, come on, man, you know. But like other times, I'm just like, yo.
What if your audio recording did cure cancer?
Wow. Where are we going with this?
I don't know. Like that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important. You're like,
being an asshole and recording good sound cues cancer.
Yeah.
Then you got to do it.
I didn't choose to be this way.
Sorry,
man.
I'm being a dick. I'm saving lives right now. No, yeah. That's honestly, if I could give any advice, it's just have a good attitude and then just do a good job. Record good audio. If you're not going to have a good take, that's going to happen, dude. It happens every job. No matter what. Though. And it's just like, the same dance every time. Every time you do a job. Like, and you have coverage and you have other stuff.
The wide shot's not the whole thing.
I know.
I mean, unless it is. But I don't know. Like,
or you're doing a oneer. Yeah, you have oneers. The oneers, that's when you have a song and dance. But like, that's when it's like, if the lavs are good, then you're fine.
Yeah.
What's your favorite lav?
Favorite lav? I'm a big, COS 11 guy. Those are heavy duty. I like DPAs because they're super thin and you don't notice the wire enclose, and it's a great microphone. But they break so easily because they're so thin and sensitive. But they're a really good microphone. But I like a good COS 11 because it's not thick enough where like you see it. Only sometimes, like if you're wearing a really tight shirt, you might see the cable. But there's ways to hide it, by like doing stuff on the side. But it's great because it's heavy duty.
Would you change the lav you're using depending on the product, or is it just like get this lav?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's good for everything?
Absolutely. I'll change the microphone if I'm doing a dialogue heavy sequence, or if we're outside or we're inside. I like using DPAs for indoors. COS 11s are great for any situation.
It's not necessarily like this is a commercial, so I'm using the less expensive one.
Yeah. No, there's no preference. It's just a matter of like how it sounds and how you like it. It's just all preference. Everyone has their favorite combo of stuff, and it's not because one is better than the other. It's just a matter of like how do you like it?
It's because it's what you own.
It's what you what you own. Very true. This is what I have.
I like this one more, but I just don't have it.
It's
so
true.
We're using this one.
It's true. I know. I always love whenever sound people always want to talk about what gear they have, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk about gear. Just like
it gets really nerdy.
It gets really nerdy, and like I don't mind doing it with like my teammates and my boom ops. Like we're okay, let's do this, and we'll talk about why we'll do that. And we'll nerd out by ourselves. But it's always funny when you're working on a big job and there's like 10 mixers there, and you're like, oh, what are you rocking? And it's like,
shut up.
I don't want to have this conversation. I just said this to the other guy too, But it's fine. It's just sound mixers.
Oh, it's like when you haven't worked with a crew for a while.
It's
and you just tell the same story.
That's the thing, though. It's because like we're always by ourselves, so we get excited when we see a sound mixer. We're like, "Oh my god, dude, what's up?" And then you look at what they're working, and you're like, "Okay, cool." But after like a few minutes, I'm kind of like, "Okay, cool, whatever."
That's enough.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like I'm glad you have that.
I remember I had a sound mixer It was the first time I saw that the Sheps, the blue microphone.
Oh, that's a really good microphone.
And I was like,
the Siemens.
I was like, what is that microphone? And just went on forever about the microphone and how awesome it was, how expensive it was.
Oh, bless him.
And then I remember I saw it again. And I was just like, I'm not even gonna ask because I already know if that's a cool mic. They're gonna just like.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That's so funny. No, I mean, I get it. I have my moments. I know when to nerd out about it, but I'm not your typical sound guy.
Never?
I don't. I like to talk about sound. You know, I like it, but not all the time. Not all the time. I have hobbies, guys. I have a life outside of film. At least I try to have a life outside of film. But yeah, no. Attitude's important because then you can work all types of jobs, from like low budget stuff, like I do with Larry Fessenden, who you guys had here, like not too long ago. I've worked with Larry on like 2 movies, maybe 3. Well, I've mixed 2 films for him, but he's also acted in like 2 or 3 other things that I've also mixed. But he's just like an actor in it.
Yeah.
So I've known Larry for a long time.
How did you meet Larry?
I had a friend, Eric Romery, another sound mixer. He was roommates with his roommate worked for Larry. So he like did a bunch of editing for Glass Eye Picks, Larry's company. And Eric would do a lot of, post sound design for them and do like, random like production audio for them. And Eric couldn't do something one day. It's like the summer of like 2018, I want to say. And Larry called me out of the blue and left me a voicemail. He had like a feature starting in a couple of weeks and needed a sound person. And I was like, okay, I'll come. And it was like a 15-day shoot, all on his property. It was called Foxhole. It's like this war epic, and it was really fucking well done. Directed by his son, Jack Fessenden. Great guy. That was my intro to Larry. But I've known his work for a while because when I was in high school, I loved all his movies. The first thing I saw that he did was Habit, which everyone loves. Everyone loves Habit. It's a big one. I was in high school when I saw that. And then I saw The Last Winter, and then I Saw the Dead. And after those 3 movies, I was like, okay, this guy Larry is fucking cool.
I like that he's like a folklore guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a legend.
Then he just lives right there.
Yeah, he's right there. He's a legend. But he's in the Woodstock area in upstate New York. He's up there just in his giant monster verse house. It's fucking cool. I love Larry's working with Larry all the time. But yeah, he's a great filmmaker and very, guerrilla filmmaking. We're all just like filmmakers here who want to like collab, and we've all, we're down to get down and dirty, for his passion projects. And they're great scripts, I love his vision, and I just love how much Larry loves movies. So those projects I love. I don't mind being like, I'm by myself, booming and laving and whatnot. It's fine, because I like collabing with Larry. He likes to listen, he lets me like be at monitor. Those kind of jobs, you get to hang out monitor. You get to like have an opinion on stuff.
There is a difference between, it's like if you're on like a big union project.
Yeah, you kind of stay in your lane.
Yeah, everybody. But on the smaller things, like it is everybody's kind of talking.
No, it's very true. And like Larry's very grateful to have you. So like that's what I love about indie jobs. It's like a film family. It's a smaller crew, but then you know everybody by name. You've kind of fallen in love with everybody. It's like your familia. You kind of like don't mind helping each other out sometimes. Doing favors and looking out for each other. And those kind of movies, it feels more like a hard effort, and when it comes out and it's good, you're like, oh great, this is awesome that like all that hard work went into like, a good premiere.
Right.
A good turnout, But then you work on those like really, really big movies, and it's not good, and you're like, man, like 3 months of my life on that, and it was a nightmare, and the movie's like bombing or whatever, and but it's money. Like I made money on the job, but then you're like, damn, I can't. But then it's all a popularity contest. Like I was on this set, I was on that set, and I love being able to be like, I did this indie movie for nothing last month.
Blackout?
I did Blackout. That's the last thing I did with Larry. Blackout and Foxhole. But then Larry was in this Hilary Swank movie that I mixed called The Good Mother. And Hilary Swank plays this journalist.
Mom.
Yeah, like I don't know about terrible mom. Yeah, terrible mom. She has an arc though. But she's like an alcoholic, and she's going to AA. And Larry played like the AA moderator, right?
Oh, nice.
Which is
That's
so funny.
great role.
He's just like, with the pamphlet, be like, all right, guys, the 12 steps, talking. Do you want to say something today? And like Hilary Swank just like walks away all pissed off, He's like, okay, safe space. But it was so funny because he showed up to set and I was like, Larry. He's like, Jay, how's it going? It's like talking to me. I'm wiring him, and as I'm wiring him up for this movie, he's like, I got a werewolf feature, Jay. You're going to love it. Shooting in the fall. I was like, I'm in. Let's go, Like, let's do this, Hilary Swank, today you're sharing a screen with an Oscar winner, and now making a werewolf movie tomorrow, I was like, let's go. So I love that about Larry. But, yeah, he was in that movie, and he did a short film called 86th that he's in. He's played this crazy, like, homeless guy on the street who, like, is screaming, like... It's great, and like in the end credits, he's like on the sidewalk, just like throwing up. It's incredible. And I think that was the first time I ever met him, and was like, "You're Larry Fessenden." I was like, "Oh, I love your shit," But then whatever, and then never saw him again for years, and then he called me.
That's awesome.
And then after that phone call, like he always invited me to like parties and hangouts, and I see him all the time. And it's a small world, but he knows so many people, and I love Larry Fessenden. He's also a great, like, if you want to get into film and learn, how things work. He's a great way to start. He'll show you like how it's done a certain way, and then you like apply yourself that way. But yeah, it's a fun world going back and forth. And I have some people are like, hey, I'm done with that world. I only do big jobs, and that's all I care about. And like, I get it. Everyone has their own responsibilities for whatever reason. I don't mind taking a pay cut sometimes to work on an indie project because I'll read the script and be like, wow, this is awesome.
Well, it is kind of wild. Like, there are people in our industry that don't
like movies.
Yeah,
they don't like movies.
There are people that do
so
this, and it's
I met
just a
so
job.
many
Like,
people who don't
it
like
is
movies.
kind of wild that this is just a job for some people.
Yeah.
Because
so
this is
many-
a terrible job.
Yeah.
There's so many better ways to make money.
Yeah.
I know. It's like we're all here because we love movies, but it's so funny to meet those guys like, oh, I don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we were working all the time, right? It's like, no, I just don't like movies.
Right.
And I'm like, what? You don't watch something that made you want to join the industry? He was like, nah. My dad was a so-and-so, and I got in. It's always that kind of guy. And you're like, okay, whatever, But... It's weird when you're like.
I know. Well, I know one guy. He's like, there's one TV show I watch. It gets renewed every year. It's the Boston Bruins.
Wow. That's pretty clutch. I'm pretty sure there's some New York teamster who's like, yeah, the Rangers. Just like
My favorite TV show.
yeah, my favorite TV show. No, I get it. I get it. Some people are like, and I get it, whatever. That's how you make your money. But I got into this before. I wasn't a sound guy originally, I wanted to be a filmmaker, and that's why I love it. I'll do the soulless high rate jobs for the paycheck to pay the bills, But then if I know I have a month here, where it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm making half of what I normally do, but it's consistent income. It's not a lot, but something, and I'm making something really cool that I'm proud of, Right. And then that's also great when it turns out to be a really good project, and a lot of that has led to like other movies and features because I did a favor for this producer, and they're like, hey, listen, I'm going to give you a real job with like a real budget. And you're like, sick, So again, attitude and just not having this ego, man. Just if you like what you do, then just do it, And I love just going all over the place. I love traveling for work,
Yeah. I feel like the lower jobs is like, for me, it's always the stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's like, okay, the job didn't pay me a lot, but the stories that I got from the job are like...
Oh, you're not talking about the story of the movie or
No,
whatever.
the stories
like,
that you get
happened.
from doing that job
Yeah.
are super valuable. And like,
100%.
you don't realize it in the moment, but then when you start telling them to other people, they're like, what the fuck? Like, you did that? And then you realize how rare or how like obscure it is. And you're like, oh, no one's actually had this experience.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think also those indie jobs, I love the whole when you're offset. You're like out of town, you're in a hotel, hanging out with friends. It's like summer camp all over again. And and you learn a lot of things from people, I mean, that's how I started off, was just doing indie films for I don't know how many years and learning about how things work from other mixers or even grips or all other departments telling me about like they're much older than me and like their days on like the bigger jobs and they're doing this and they jump back and forth, and it's interesting to hear about all these crazy stories and to be like, oh wow, I know a guy who worked on this movie and that movie, it's kind of cool, and then like, and my favorite part was like when I would start getting nerdy and like reading about mixers and what gear they use on certain big jobs. And I'm like, oh, I have that stuff.
Do you own a pair of pink shorts?
I need to. I don't.
What?
You don't know like the famous Star Wars boom up guy? There's like this insane behind the scenes photo of like is he shirtless?
They're on Mos Eisley shooting something on Tatooine, right? Like, and it's like it's a big exterior, like a guy on a ladder shooting like the whole crew. He is shirtless. They're obviously somewhere in the desert somewhere, but he is. This is the 70s, so it's like this big
time.
But he's
big
like
giant boom pole, right, in the like 100-degree weather, and all he's wearing are these hot pink like booty shorts, like
the
super
5-inch inseam, like just fucking
and
ripping it.
Those like oven mitts. Because I guess they didn't have booming gloves yet in the 70s. I don't know, but he's oven mitts and he's he's like completely tan, and it became like a thing. I remember seeing some sound mixers like go to Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's like it's like a Halloween costume or like a cosplay
the Star Wars
that people
boom
do.
guy, and then it became a thing. Like, was he wearing pink shorts every day? You know,
Right.
And like people were just like, every interior he's on the Death Star, he's like in pink shorts, just like booming. I hope that's true. But yeah, the mysterious lore of the Star Wars boom operator.
Yeah. Not know that.
You can look it up on the internet. It's a funny picture because like the picture is funny, but when I noticed the oven mitts, I was like, oh my god! Like he went to his kitchen, like probably took that from his kitchen or something.
Because it's probably hot.
He's like, DIY, baby.
Yeah, right. Holding that boom pole, I get it. It's so funny, dude. That always cracks me up. But yeah, no, I do not own pink shorts. I should though. I should
just come in your kit.
Yeah. It should. It's part of my kit rental. I put it in my description of my kit, like hot pink Star Wars pink shorts. It's the most expensive line item on my kit. Like, why is
Can
it
we do the movie without these?
If there's stains on this, I will have to have your wardrobe department, just like costumes department, fix this for me. If it gets ruined. Yeah. No. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'm sure stories like that are like great. Like pink Star Wars guy.
I wonder, like, it'd be even funnier if he like lost a bet and that just happened to be the one
right?
BTS photo
we
that
don't
like
know
got
the actual lore of this guy's
He
pink
lost the
shorts.
bet.
Yeah, he just lost a bet, but now he's like the most iconic costume. Right, all because he lost a bet. I feel like indie movies, there's this camaraderie of like everyone sticking out for each other, and you just have so much fun. There's jokes being cracked on set. Everyone's having a good time. The sense
Pressure's lower.
the pressure's lower, but I've also noticed. I don't know. The one sad thing about it, and I could be wrong, but some movies where you're having so much fun on set don't end up being good.
Yeah.
And in the movies that like were really hard to make, you like questioned your career, you questioned yourself mentally, and it ends up being really good.
Yeah.
But you're like, fuck, but there was so much abuse on that job. It's like, am I glorifying that? And it's a tough thing to like navigate. But there's some jobs that I got really lucky with. I'll say this movie I did, Linoleum, with Jim Gaffigan. That was like the perfect everything. It was an indie film. It was non-union. It was 2020. It was right after, I think we shot in like the winter of 2020. It was like maybe months after like we were able to open up again, the film world and work. And pre-vaccine, but we did the bubble. I think we didn't even have any COVID, scares or strikes happen. Everyone on set was there. But like no egos, perfect set. Everyone was happy. The cast was perfect.
Because nobody had worked in 9 months.
I guess so. That's true. Also, we're all excited to be working.
Thank fucking God.
Yeah. But like it was one of those jobs where it's like it was a job where like we had so much fun every single day. So much fun. You were cracking jokes. You were like, and then it turned out to be like a really fucking good movie, And I always got worried. I was like, fuck, this is too much fun. We're having too much fun. We're getting away with so much things. It's like, this is not going to go anywhere, this movie, is it? And then you start watching the cut together, and, the director of that movie was, he did such a good job. Colin West, great guy. One of the nicest directors I've ever met. Cared about every department, He was such a sweet guy, and I've been chasing that high ever since that job of like perfect cast, perfect crew, just absolutely every day was a lot of fun. Whatever drama that happened was squashed right away. It wasn't insane, just everyone was like there for each other. And
Do you think you're just glamorizing it in your head right now? It's like
oh, I know, right? Yeah, the Stockholm syndrome. No, there's definitely jobs where I'm just like, it's okay. I love being here. But that was that one job that was like an anomaly. I was like, how did this happen?
Right.
And I've been waiting for that ever again.
Like you're waiting on the last day for like something to
happen, right?
And,
or like something, and then
3
nothing.
people died on
right?
This dolly shot killed 3 people.
Literally, right? Nothing. And yeah, we had some cool stunts on that too. It was a weird sci-fi flick, yeah. But
That was Jim Gaffigan?
Jim Gaffigan, yeah, he played
He must be like just cracking jokes.
Yeah, he
like,
was the best.
nonstop.
Oh, dude, he
when
was
he's not-
so good.
Yeah.
And he was playing, like he had like a doppelganger in the movie. It was like evil Jim Gaffigan, but he played himself. So we had to leave like a lot of like, you know, split screen stuff for him. So it's funny to see his attitude change from like when he's like playing his whimsical character versus like his evil character, and like his mood would change. But like it's also funny because once the camera cuts, he like crack jokes with you nonstop, and he knew everyone by name, and like he was a treat because you never know with some comedians, you know, they really chill. He wanted to hang out with the crew every day, you know, he partied, he hung out.
The guy that played Jerry Gergich, he was on one of the synthetic movies we did a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah. Jim O'Hare. Yeah, Jim O'Hare was great. We did that prank on the last day of set with Jim O'Hare where him and I were talking. He goes, "Can I have the boom? I'm going to go into frame and like boom this shot. When they don't say anything, just like tell Pat to stand down. I'm going to go in frame. And I'm going to purposely just like enter frame and try to get close as possible." And it was so funny because like we rolled. I was like, "All right, cool, I won't say anything." And like we rolled, and the director is like, "Okay, cool." And he's watching the scene that's happening, and then the boom starts dipping in. He goes like, Pat, the boom's in frame, Pat." And then it's like it keeps getting deeper and deeper, and you just see Jim walk in, the actor, and everyone, he goes from like really pissed off to like the whole set's cracking up, you know. And I was like, that was like really fun. I got to have Jerry just like prank the scene, and he's like, and like I have a picture of him holding the boom. The way he's like looking at the camera to see if he's like at the monitor, just like trying to boom in there. Yeah. And it was like him with the headphones and everything, giving him the pack. It was so funny. I had a couple people hit me up on Instagram being like, "Wait, is he like in 52? Is he a boom op?" I was like, "Yeah, man, times are tough, man. Jim O'Hare's a boom op, bro." It's just like, he's got to make money, dude.
Nobody wants to do it, bro.
Legit, legit. Like, people were they actually like, "Yo, real quick, like, is he
available?
Is he actually a boom? Is he a celebrity boom op, dude?" Just like,
super niche.
he's on Cameo. You just gotta go ask for it. "Can I get the boom up special, dude?" Come to my set. But yeah, I thought that was so funny. I was like, "Really, dude? You really thought so?"
That's awesome.
No, that's the thing. But only like on a.
You have to know when to do that.
And when to do that, yeah.
It's like,
I feel like I couldn't do that on any job.
At the end of an 18-hour day, and some guy's like pulling a prank on the last take.
Exactly.
You're like, "We all want to go home."
But he loved having a contact and talking into the mic and saying dirty jokes. And he'd be like, "Hey, are the producers listening?" I was like, "No, it's just you and me right now." He goes, "Okay, great." And he'll say like some really funny stuff.
Wait, so you're like sitting there?
Yeah,
he's like sitting over there talking to you
because he's holding the boom.
Oh, I thought like on his lav, he's just like talking directly to you.
I mean, he'll do that sometimes too. If he's in the scene, he'll talk to me. But like, this was a day where like he was just hanging out because he already wrapped. It was like it was the last day of filming.
He was only there for a couple days.
He was there for a couple days, but he wrapped. But like, it was our last day for the whole job, so he was like, "I'm just gonna hang around," you know. And like, he was on set just like chilling, and he was like hanging out with me. And like, him and Pat hit it off really well with my boom up, and that was a fun job. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. But that's the thing. I knew the director really well. I knew that company really well, so I knew I could pull that job off. Mike did something really funny with synthetic a long time ago. It was one of my favorite things he did. This AD Greg White, you know, he's a legend. He's been in everything. He's a big Law and Order guy, and he's like, "All right, Mike, do you want your room tone?" And this guy was like old school, like, "Oh, fucking room tone. Like, why can't you just get like 5 seconds and then fucking loop it? You know, just loop it. You know?" And then Mike will be like, "No, we're gonna get like a minute. We're gonna get 30 seconds just to piss him off." But then one time he goes, "All right, I just need 30 seconds, Greg." He's like, "All right, cool. We're getting room tone. Everyone be quiet." And Mike goes, "Okay, rolling on room tone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Saying out like 30 seconds of room tone, everybody. Thank you. 1, 2, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And we were all dying, but only because like, you know, we knew that company really well. Yeah. It was like a prank. You couldn't do that anywhere else, but that was so funny, dude. And the AD's just like, it's like what the hell? 1, 2. Oh man. Yeah, that's the fun stuff. But yeah, again, that's all things like that make people laugh. You have a good attitude, and then they want to hire you again. Being the funny guy and chill, you know, it's. And not too funny. You got to know your limits. You know, you can't be just all the time.
You're not the comedian.
Yeah, you're not the comedian here. We got Jim O'Hare here.
Yeah.
Just like,
also, celebrity boom up if you need.
Yeah, it's really is just finesse of like knowing. You got to read a room well. You know.
Yeah.
Some people are like, "Oh yeah, you're funny," and then you can keep going, and they want you around. And then other times you're like, "Okay, you try to be nice, chill," and then that's not the vibe with them. Okay, cool. And you got to know how to read that and be like, "All right, business mode," and like keep your job going. And I think that goes a long way. Yeah, it really does.
I agree. I think that's like across the board.
Yeah.
Really for everybody. Like,
for everybody, yeah. But sound needs to do that more often. Be more chill. It's bad rep we get for sound. I mean, I feel like nowadays there's like a lot of sound mixers I know who are like, everyone loves, they're all chill. But back in the day, man, there was this bad rep for sound, dude. Just cranky.
They all have heart conditions.
Heart conditions, insane writers on the demands and whatnot. I don't know. It's interesting to see.
It's because no one wants to do it.
No one wants to do it, so then they're going to want to do it. I get it. No one wants to do it. Still to this day, no one wants to do it.
How often are you, I guess, being accused of listening in, even though it's your job?
Yeah, so like, it is a big trust thing, I've had actors who are like, hey, like, what's the process, of like, is my mic's off when I'm offset, are you listening when, and I always, I'm not listening when you're offset. I obviously check in just to make sure your wire hasn't fallen off. And for the most part, I never, I respect their privacy,
Yeah.
I take my headphones off, I'm chilling, and then when they're on set, I'll listen in to make sure anything happens. But yeah, sometimes, you'll hear something going and you're like, oh my God. And, I turn off the context, like they're not hearing stuff, but then you hear things that they're saying and you're like, how can you forget that you're wired? You're
Right.
talking bad about the director, or you're complaining about something, or you're whispering to like, your assistant or something, or a producer about.
Is it your job to remind them, or is it just kind of like stay back?
It's
Like,
not my job to remind them. I feel like with non-actors, I'll do like, hey, you're wired now, so be careful what you're doing. Or if you're going to the bathroom, please let me know,
Right.
so I don't hear you peeing. I don't know where.
farting up a storm.
Yeah, or like, or I don't know where. Like, I don't hear them because I have like 5 lavs going, and then I don't know where. I'm just like sitting there, just hearing. And you're like, oh my God, someone's peeing. You're like, oh my God, because they don't tell you they're going to the bathroom, But you still have to monitor it. But yeah, most of the time it's like you have to have that. It's a very important thing, that gets you fired all the time. I had
Does it really?
Yeah, I had a director get really pissed off at me one time, and it was like an ESPN. We were on the ESPN lots up in Connecticut. I don't know if you've ever been up there on Sports Center stage up there.
Bristol.
But Bristol, Connecticut. So they always shoot like, I guess it was these like Liberty was it the Liberty Mutual? Yeah, that like Statue of Liberty backdrop.
Yeah.
With the gate.
That shot is not real. That doesn't exist.
That's
anywhere.
all.
Like,
Does it look
It's
real?
It's all a green screen
I
and
think
just
that-
the bench,
that's
the rail. Only the rail is.
I think
is like
that
real.
people
Yeah.
think there's a place that you can get that close to Statue of Liberty from land.
No, it's
and
all
it's,
big. Yeah, and like I remember doing those commercials.
It's very visibly fake.
Yeah.
It's very
No, I
visibly
know, but
fake.
there are a lot of people in New York. There are a lot of people that are not in
Yeah.
New York that like.
So I think that just proves there are a lot of dumb people in the world.
Well, we knew that. Yeah, we know that.
No, it's for whatever reason they have this thing where like certain commercials are under certain networks, I guess, and maybe it's because Disney owns ESPN. I don't know how it works, but certain commercials were just shot on the ESPN lot. They have like these like stages, sound stages, and like they'll turn the Sports Center stage into like something else because you're just looking at one corner,
Yeah.
And then they'll get I think a lot of it is also because the anchors are involved with the
There,
products or whatever. So we did a lot of stuff like that. But I did one thing where like it was a big job, and I guess I forgot to turn the Comtech off. And this is like I was still starting out. I was probably like a couple of years in already, and this director, I guess he heard on his headset that he could still hear his actor talking offset, and in front of the whole crew, just like started screaming like, "How come I can hear my actors? How fucking dare you? Gotta turn that off, right? My actor is just like, he needs to have privacy." And I was like, "Whoa, like." Absolutely, you're right. Like I didn't realize it, but I'm thinking like, oh my God, did he say something that like was
Yeah.
like bad and I fucked that up? But he wasn't doing anything. He just happened to hear him talk, and he had to.
But
and,
also,
like,
just take your fucking headphones off.
yeah, but like, or
like-
he could just come up to me and be like, "Hey, can you turn off the headset?"
Right.
Like you have to scream in front of the whole crew and
no
like
one
berate
else.
me. And my heart, I was like, I've never been yelled at in my life. I was like, I mean, like, but like, at work at least, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I fucked
You're like,
up.
do I leave now?
Am I fired? Like, does this guy never want to see me? And he pulled a whole like at the end of the day, like, hey, sorry for yelling at you, like blah blah blah. I was just stressed out. I was like, I fucking hate that
Right,
shit.
you were the sixth
Fuck
thing
that.
that happened.
Yeah, like, fuck off.
Yeah, you were just the thing.
And whatever. I never saw that guy ever again. So who knows where he is?
Did that
like-
happen like in the day and then you had to continue?
Yeah,
working?
exactly.
Ugh. How do you like?
I mean, I was
deal with
just
that?
quiet, and like the DP brought me on, but he was also like producing it too, and he was kind of like, "Hey, like, don't worry about it." Like
Right.
that was like, I'm still going to call you. Like, don't worry. I was like, okay, cool. I was like 23, starting out. And I was like freaking out, like, oh my God, like, there goes my sound career,
Right.
I got
I'll just go kill myself. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But like, yeah. And then I started hearing all these stories about like sound guys doing crazy shit. And you're like, damn, you didn't get fired? It's like, wow.
I feel like it's a lot of power, right? Because like
Yeah.
you can record that stuff. No one knows that
That's
you
true.
recorded it.
It's true. Yeah.
And then you can release it. Like it's not like footage.
Well,
where
he doesn't own it.
Well, yeah, I don't. And once the job's done, I mean, I signed that deal memo, which says like once the job's done, I don't own the audio. But unless I get paid, I gotta get paid.
Have you ever had to do that? Have you ever held?
Have I ever held? No, but I've threatened to.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's tough with narrative because you just give the audio right away, and then later on you're like, "Where's my money?"
Yeah.
And it's too late. They already have it on the hard drive, and the job wrapped like 2 weeks ago. So that's always tough. But you just once you get litigation talks involved, then you're like, then they like pay you right away.
Have you ever had a producer come up to you and be like, erase everything that just happened?
Oh my God, no, not yet. Not yet.
You want that to happen?
One day.
Like,
and then I'll
something
keep
juicy.
Well, because I always record on multiple cards at the same time. So it's like, oh yeah, I formatted the card, see? But the other card,
Well, yeah,
not?
I've actually had producers when I've shot something been like, how much is it to just take your card?
I didn't have.
We don't want you to take it home.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've never had that happen to me about the whole like turn eraser, like don't take it home or whatever. But I did have one time a weird request from an AD. It was a job I did. It was a horror movie. I won't say what, but there was a difficult actor on the movie. And I guess while we were still rolling, she like got really pissed off about something and said something really I can't remember what it was, but
Racist.
it wasn't racist. It wasn't derogatory, but like it was a lot of cursing and like talking shit about the production.
So what we do
like,
here.
Yeah.
And like in a way, like in foresight, I get why she was pissed. She's not wrong to be pissed, but like you don't say what you said,
Right,
out loud. I guess just to cover your ass. But she said it out loud while we're rolling, and then and I guess she was like talking shit about the AD or whatever, like out loud about like, well, fuck this. It was like a whole thing, and we were rolling, we reset it, and we kept going. We cut whatever, and it was like a really like unprofessional thing. And the AD was like, I want you to find that take and find that clip of her saying that and email it to me because I'm talking to SAG tomorrow. Wow. And I've never been, and I was like, am I allowed to do that? So I talked to the producer. I was like, hey, the AD asked me to do
Go to UPM
is this
and ask
cool?
them. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do. And it's not a union movie. It was a non-union movie. And I was like, what do we do here?
That's where you're like $20.
Yeah.
And that's where you're like
They give
$20,
you the money,
and then you go to the actor and you go, so they want me to do
$40.
this.
I was like, yeah, what do I do here? Yeah.
I've heard stories of people like, have you ever recorded somebody and then like had the director come in like, we're going to replace this person, just make sure that we have the reference audio, something like we're going to reshoot this with someone else?
Yes, once I did this movie and we shot 3 days and then we went dark because the actor was like a alcoholic and I guess he got inappropriate with his lead actress and everyone quit. The whole it was 3 main characters and all because of the main guy, the other 2 quit because they were like, because I guess the woman, the co-star, her agent had this. The other two had the same agent, so they just were like, "Fuck this," we left. So that was a bummer to hear. So I remember like we recorded all this stuff, but then they had the new actor like watch the first few days to mimic some stuff, and I had to play some stuff for them to listen. But it was weird. I remember like we shot like almost a week, and then we went dark. And I was like, is this job canceled? Fuck. And then like we're gonna recast, and within like 5 days they recasted. And these actors just had to learn their shit as we shot.
Yeah.
And they were great, but it was awesome to be like, it was like Groundhog Day, like reshooting the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Literally for like, we shot like 3 days, 4 days worth of stuff and doing it all over again.
It'd be funny.
It
to
was
just
so weird.
Just reshoot the coverage.
Yeah.
And use the original wides.
Well, the thing they were hoping to be like, hey, if we just recast the lead, would you stay on? So we don't have to reshoot their coverage and just only this guy's coverage and then the wides. Yeah. And they were like, no, they left.
Too late, man.
Yeah, they wished us the best. So they had to recast everything. So we had to reshoot everything. And it was like, an extra week of work and money.
That's
but like,
true.
it sucks that like that happened to them. But yeah, I remember it was like a weird vibe. I remember from day one, this actor, we were all like, this is weird. This guy is like very, very pompous and know-it-all and started acting like a diva. Like, it's like, hey man, this isn't like a multi-million-dollar movie where you're like get to do whatever you want. It's like it's an indie. And
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
This is a Wendy's. Your second meal is gonna be McDonald's. Like, please don't freak out. You know.
This is a Wendy's drive-thru.
This is a Wendy's drive-thru. No, it was one of those. Yeah, because it was an indie, and it was a cool project, but that guy was weird, and I don't know whatever happened to that guy. But he was like a big actor. He was this actor who he was like name dropping and trying to like act cool. He was British. I forget his name, but like I remember we shot like 3 days with him, and I've never seen him in anything ever again. Huh. I should probably look him up to see whatever happened.
It's nice to name drop people that you're not actually affiliated with.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, oh, look at this, and this story happened, that story happened, right?
You know about Quentin Tarantino? Yeah. He's cool, right?
He's cool.
I've never met him.
I never met I've never met him. Yeah. I know a guy who knows a guy. I'm 1 degree away.
We're
from
industry
Tarantino.
buddies.
Exactly. I've mingled with him.
Do you store the audio?
Yeah, I store the audio mostly for features until like I know it's like done. Then I'll like every year I format my drives and I'll send like an email to like some clients being like, hey, like I'm done here. Like I'm getting rid of it. Unless you want it like on like a cloud somewhere,
Do you do that for yourself, or is that a thing that you?
I did this for myself because I don't want to own. I thought about like, I should just buy a hard drive every year and just like label it the year of like production.
One hard drive.
Yeah, but like one.
Well, it's for its sound. It's not.
I wish it was one hard drive, but I feel like 1 year, like a terabyte, gets me about like a year's worth of audio, because features. Yeah.
He's so happy.
1 terabyte. That's crazy.
1 terabyte. Yeah, and now they're starting to make terabyte SD cards. 1 terabyte SD cards. So I was like, I don't have to ever format ever again.
Just buy a new one every year.
Use the same card.
I'll just like label it 2012 this year, and just have all the jobs on that card. But no, I mean feature.
No backups.
Yeah, depending on the
That
job.
won't
like
corrupt. It's
when
fine.
I'm doing like a big job, like the Bad Shabbos, that film I did. It was ensemble cast every day. It was like 8 to 12 tracks every day. Every single day. And like I'm like minusing, going in, I'm going through all the tracks. And that I remember like every day giving the card, and it was like almost 10, 12 gigabytes worth of audio every day. When I'm like used to like, here's like half a gig of stuff, and it's the whole day, And this one's like, there's like we're doing like long takes, and it's like 12 tracks going, And those jobs, I was like, damn, bro, this is a lot of fucking audio, metadata, I was like, this is heavy.
When you have like these ensembles or I mean, you said you've done a lot of horror stuff. Are there ways to preserve to make sure that like duplicate a track? Can you record it twice? Make sure that you actually get something, so you're not because the live mix is nice, but you also want to make sure that you're not fucking up, right?
Exactly. Because if your mix is the only thing you have, and then your ISOs are fucked, then the whole thing you're in trouble.
Can you talk about it? Like, just give us a few of those kind of like what?
I remember this movie I did. A Wounded.
I have one.
Oh,
Sorry.
Get your drinks, fellas. I'm so good at my high life. You want a high life?
I'll do a high life. That's
Here
fine.
you go, my friend.
Why not? No, high life's good.
Sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
was trying to be as quiet as possible, reaching in that loud ass cooler.
I know. I could tell.
Sound
that
guy
he was
went.
like,
The sound guy went.
yeah.
Hey, at least I
We're
wasn't eating
rolling
chips.
sound right now.
Right? When you brought in the bowl of chips, I was like, bro, the worst snack right now.
But they're far away, so you can't get them.
This movie, A Wounded Fawn, it's awesome. It's on Shudder. Great time making this movie. Josh Rubin, I don't even know Josh Rubin. He's a big, awesome comedian and awesome actor and big horror buff guy. Done a lot of cool horror stuff. He was the lead, but he liked to like improvise a lot and do a lot of stuff. And he collabed with me, what we're gonna do, screaming and whatnot. But that job was a lot of me like writing around, because a lot of like, let's go for this, let's go for that. They were trying so many things, so it was always like last minute. With horror and indie, you're on a budget and you're doing other things. So sometimes they'll just go for it, And I definitely had duplicate tracks going too, where in case my mix wasn't good, the ISO was fine with limiters, and then the mix track was like had whatever I could do, and if I fucked it up, at least the ISO has it nice,
Right.
But for the most part, it was cool. The post house for that movie reached out to me, and they were like, "Yo, great job."
Nice.
And I was like, "I've never had that happen to me," and I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like they reached out, they like DM'd me on Instagram.
They're like mad at you. That you took a week of work away from us.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, thanks for making my life easy." Like he literally, I still have the message. I'll never forget it, because I think when I got tagged in the movie, for the stuff on Instagram, they were also tagged the post house.
Okay.
So they like DM'd me being like, "Hey,
cool.
you were the mixer? Like, just want to say." And I was like, "Whoa!" And then when I got to it premiered at Tribeca, and when I went, the director like looked at me and he goes, "By the way, zero ADR, zero re-recording. It's all your stuff. And I was like, so proud of that. I was like, that's awesome.
How for like things like that, like how important are the rehearsals for like sound? Like
Definitely important because you want to know like what's going to happen. Do I have to kill a lot? Do I have to de-wire somebody? Is someone going to scream? You know, because like I know I get people want to like wire for everything, but like I'm pretty cool with like, hey, we don't have to wire. Let's not worry about it because I get this dread of like you see the wire fall off during the take. And then everyone's like, oh, sound, you fucked up. Yeah. And it's like, well, I didn't know you were going to do that, I would have taken it off, or hit it somewhere else or done something, But, yeah, rehearsals are important. If you can get it, it's important to watch, especially for your boom up because he's going to be the one who has to make sure where the mic's going, Yeah. So that's always good to know. And it's, sometimes you don't realize something's going to happen. They're going to get splashed with water. They're going to do something crazy, de-wire them or something. I don't know. But rehearsals are so important. It really makes your job easier. But no matter what, sound has to make it perfect every take until camera gets it right. So, you guys can go over and over, take 12, but like I gotta make sure it's perfect every time because who knows when you guys are gonna get it right, It's just like the focus is off, something happened to the prop, the actor flubbed the line, but I gotta make sure. But if I'm like, hey, can we get one more take? God damn it, sound like what the fuck, man? Yeah, it's so funny. But what are you gonna do? That's just how it is. I think that's like the hazing of film that I like too. The rituals.
You like the hazing?
The rituals, man. Yeah, it's in the handbook. Fuck with sound. It is what it is.
Does it come from like back in the day, like when there was no sound?
Silent films.
Well, I mean, like think about it.
You're the
like,
new guy.
Yeah, right. We just showed up. Like, we've been
You're
doing
the new guy.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a while.
And like even with lighting, it was like arc lights. Arc lights are loud, so it's like sound comes in and immediately like can't use those. And you're like, what the fuck? Do you have like a go bag, like a sound go bag? Like if someone's like, hey, I need you tomorrow.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I got this one bag. I can
do it all.
Roll in.
If I have no information of the job and I'm just showing up last minute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could do that,
I
sure.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
No, I mean, because I think sometimes like you do a job and you like don't realize that there's sound involved, and then you're like, oh fuck, someone needs to record that.
Yeah, and then you show up and you're like, what do you need? Like, I just need like a lav and boom or something. Or I've even like done jobs where like, hey, our mixer has COVID. And, like, you need to show up right now. Like, do you have 8 lavs and a boom, blah, blah, blah. I was like, was there a boom op? Like what are we talking here? So it's all a matter of like, I have a one bag that's great to go. It's a 6-3 Orca bag that's great. It does 6 tracks. I can do 5 lavs and a boom, in and out. It's great for documentary, for feature, for narrative, any type of job. You can just use it. And it's great. It has built-in stuff, and it's like, I don't know, like this big. It's a really great recorder, and I could do so much with it. And it's a work. I've done so much with that recorder, all kinds of productions, and it's still working fine. 633, shout out. But yeah, it's a good recorder. It's a good time. That's the one. That's like my favorite. Now everyone uses a Scorpio or.
How many do you have? What's a normal amount of sound?
I mean, you should have 2 of everything because if one craps out, you have the other one ready to go. But like at my production company with my friends, we have 2 of those 6-3 recorders. We have an 88 and a few other small recorders. Like
what else are you like? Do you bring the headsets for like? The producers.
We bring everything.
The slate years, like
So that the kit is basically like if you're bringing it's like the cart or the bag, regardless, it's going to be the same as like a base package. But what they're asking for is like how many lavs do you have, how many booms do you have, how many contexts do you have, and it all depends on the job. Like on a union job, the sound guy has to have everything. 20 contexts, 5 timecode slates, 4 locket boxes. You're ready to go for any type of situation because it's a big job. The cart and all that stuff. But like on an indie job, you could get away with like, I'm mixing from my bag with a few lavs and a boom, and I have like 5 contexts,
So is at what point do you like, for like a one-man band kind of thing, and you show up, like, is your rate including your kit, or is your kit always a separate fee?
Kit's always a separate fee, which is great. Regardless if I have a boom op or not, if I'm working alone, I'm always getting my kit rate. I'll negotiate kit rates depending on how much gear I'm bringing. Obviously on those big jobs where I bring my car, I'll bring a pretty high kit rate, but those jobs automatically come with like an expected high kit rate. They're always wondering what they could do. But on an indie job where I'm like one-man banding it myself, where I'm working for like some like low rate, starting out, like in the early days, like synthetic, where I'm like making like maybe $400 a day all in, back in the early days for like those like non-union jobs. But then like, you those base rates suck, but then they add up, with like overtime and like penalties and other things happen. You don't realize reimbursements and petty cash, and you walk away with some stuff, and it ends up adding up sometimes. But yeah, I'm very open to like negotiating. If you need very minimal stuff, just pay my base kit, and that's it. And if it's like a really big, massive job, I'll charge like a certain kit rate, and then everything else is a la carte. You want something specific or extra, and you happen to pull it out, I'm gonna charge you for that. Like,
do you own
$10, $20?
Do you own the megaphone for the first?
No,
AD?
I don't own a megaphone, but the sound guys should. Own it. But I don't own a megaphone. But Mike does. I remember having that on a major with him, and some ADs want the megaphone. Some ADs want the God mic, and they want like a speaker setup, and they're talking into a handheld mic all the time.
Is that separate than playback?
That is separate from playback.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's just like a specific thing. Playback, because he's using it nonstop. Whereas playback, it's like you're cueing music. You have to get permission to do something, because the AD is controlling the God mic, so it's not up to us. We just gotta turn it on.
Right.
You plug it in, turn it on. That's it. But like if we're playing music, I've done like jobs where it's like, oh, we don't have a playback mixer today, but so and so wants music playing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Jose, you're getting re-rated. You're going from utility to playback mixer, all because I have to plug in an iPad into the speaker and I have to press play on a song, and like because of that, that's a playback rate, So that's a different story. But like if the AD is just plugging it in, turning it on, that's it. Okay. He's controlling how it works. Yeah. It's not your job. So
we had somebody, one of the questions they asked us was like if you're in a situation where you're supposed to be if there's live music or something on set, you're not actually recording live music. Like that is specifically
you happen to be like
a playback person is for the most part. Like
exactly.
When there's a concert on screen, I don't think that person's ever actually playing, like unless it's a fucking concert. Yeah. But like in a movie, that's not that.
No, definitely not. I mean, it all depends on what they're doing. If they're doing like projections or like green screen, then but also like the playback guy, if it's like a music video or like a big union music video, you're gonna have like there's playback carts that exist. You know, like it's a real position and you have this whole thing going on. But I mean, only on those big union music videos, you'll have like a legit playback mixer with all this big gear. You're running time code to every camera, but all you're doing is just playing the music.
What a great
to time code. Yeah, and you're just literally just playing press record, and it's all just synced because this way they can just take the music that's already linked to their choreography and they're just editing it whenever they can. So it's just
how do you get that job?
I don't know. I've only did it once, and it's cool, but it's not really. I mean, I don't mind it. I've also come from like the low budget music video where it's like, can you record the skit we want to do in the beginning, and then like, can you do playback after that? Just play the song over and over and over and over again off the phone or something. I was like, okay. But yeah, playback stuff, live event stuff. If you're filming, like like last night I was doing iHeart. Right, and it's all like it's a live concert happening in front of you, but you're recording stuff while that's happening. It's all about.
Is that you just taking what's coming off the board?
If they want the performance, then yeah, I'll just like get a board feed and like take it for like a specific performance, and then they can like time code sync it to their cameras if they want to. But usually those kind of big jobs, they're gonna get the whole thing, edit it, and if they want to use that footage, they could. But it's like a fail safe.
You're more like of a BTS kind of guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just getting like stuff or like whatever the client wants for that show, And like last night I was like doing a bunch of stuff for like one of the sponsors, Capital One. They're like, oh, we're gonna record this and this, and there's winners. We're gonna record their sound bites, how much fun they're having, things like that. Recording certain things happening, and then if they want a specific performance from an artist, I could get a feed from it, and that's it, and then just sync it later. But it's all a matter of just grabbing feed whenever you can from the house. Mm-hmm. After that, just use directional microphones if it's too loud in the place, but you have to get like a interview and you're but they're next to the speaker or whatever, and you're like, fuck. Just use directional microphones. Mm-hmm. Good old 416. It's my favorite on the field microphone.
Some shitty rigs that we see a lot on the page. One thing that I always see is a microphone basically pointed directly at a speaker, probably because you can't
you can't get a board feed.
Feed.
So you're just trying to get the shows, the event audio.
Legit or?
I've done it. I've done it where like most of the time, yeah, like you go to the house, like, how do you need a board feed? They'll give you an XLR out, and you're fine. But every once in a blue moon, you might be in a smaller space or a studio space where like they don't really have a legit sound person. It's like a small board, and there's no outs, or like the outs are like 1/4 inch, or I don't have the right outputs for this. I didn't bring it with me, so like I'll just put the boom on the speaker. Or I'll hide a lav on a speaker if I don't feel like holding the boom. It's like, it's going to be a 2-hour event. I'm not going to do that for 2 hours. So I'll like hide like a lav or like a plant mic on the speaker and try to level it out so it's not peaking or clipping, and then just have that. It's not great. Most of the time, it sounds like a board feed recording, because sometimes you'll get the board feed too, and you're kind of like, oh, this sounds like shit, but like, whatever, that's what the client wants,
Yeah.
So I've done that. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit that I've done that.
Like, I mean, are lavs okay to be used? Like, I've seen a lot.
If it's like a loud concert, it's gonna clip,
Yeah.
But like I've done like the boom on it, or I'll put like a butt plug, an HMA, on.
Wait, does the sound department have something?
We call it butt plugs.
What's a butt plug?
A butt plug is like what you put on the boom, the wireless transmitter on the boom.
Oh, okay. Because in the grip department, a butt plug goes from a junior pin to a baby pin. I didn't realize other departments had their own.
At least because like
a tale of two butt plugs.
It all depends on what you use. I've seen some people who have like a nice skinny transmitter, right?
Yeah.
But like a lot of mixers that I know and that what I use too are the HMAs, which are like these like big fat rectangles with like a thing that sticks out. It looks like a butt plug, and we just call it butt plugs.
How much extra that extra weight on the end of a boom is that killer?
It's not really that bad. Yeah. And yeah, so every time if I don't want to hold the boom, I'll plug in an HMA into the boom mic and put the boom somewhere by the speaker.
Okay.
I'll use a dinkum and put it on here, and the transmitter goes here, and I just have it. Yeah. Boom mic, wireless, but like kind of like what I do for cars when we're doing driving.
Yeah,
sequences.
I see these
like
the
on
dinkum,
the right, and the
like
mic is on here.
Yeah.
So I'll do the same thing and put it by the speaker if I have to, like if I don't have a board send, but they want the event audio, and I don't want to like hold the boom for 2 hours. Okay. I'll just like hide that. Yeah, and then the talent may or may not be wired. I don't know, but either way, there's like a fail safe, and it's not the end of the world. It's usable. It's good.
Yeah. Are lavs okay to be used as like, because that's close to something. Like I see a lot of like, oh fuck, our mic broke. We put a lav on the end of a boom pole and just dangled it. Is that terrible?
I've seen that, and I've never done that in my life. I remember doing something for like Access Hollywood, and like their sound guy would have the boom there, and then the lav wire wrapped around the boom mic, and then the lavs, and it's just to get
hanging.
Just a hanging lav as like a second mic, and I'm like, just put 2 booms. It was weird. I was like, but I'll never forget it. Just like seeing him just like wrap the lav wire around the boom mic, and then like the lav sticking out, and then the boom, and he's just getting 2 sources. And I'm like, I guess that's okay, but like it's gonna sound horrible because a lav is supposed to be really, it's supposed to be close proximity. If it's so far away, it's just gonna sound really hollow and bad. Okay. Whereas, I mean, if you're using a directional mic, maybe a directional lav, probably, I don't know. But I just thought that was so weird. Just wire the person, or just use the boom.
Just use another boom.
Yeah. Or just use one boom. The one boom will be fine, Yeah. I don't know. But that was definitely a weird thing. But I've never done the wiring a boom and let it
I've
hang.
never even seen that.
I have always thought about like, could I just hang lav wires on a ceiling just for like an ensemble scene, That would work, but it would probably would just sound really hollow and like too echoey. Right. Yeah, but it's possible. I don't know. Yeah. But lavs.
And then there was another one that I've seen, and people are like, no way, that can't work. But it's like this guy, and I can find the picture to show you.
Yeah.
This guy basically had the wrong cable for his shotgun on his camera. So he had the shotgun mounted on the camera.
Okay, but no XLR for it?
Well, he had the XLR, but it had the wrong end for the camera. And he didn't have a turnaround or anything. So he just disassembled it and then plugged the pins into the camera.
Way.
Copper don't care.
Copper don't care.
Yeah.
That's a guy who solders his own cables. He knows the stuff.
They make XLRs now that switch between male and female. It's like this weird. It's like you literally you slide a little switch and like this casing comes out, and now it's like a.
Because it just moves.
Yeah, it just moves the pins in and out.
That's smart. I don't think I've seen that. I need to get that.
Yeah,
because I always have
I'd be
those
surprised
turnarounds.
if it didn't break like after like 3 uses, but
probably.
That's pretty
production.
Cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You just
Beautiful
always get a new
L&Ds,
one.
baby. Yeah. No, it's true. I've never seen that, but that's funny. I had a director one time. We were like having trouble with time code. Like my Limo cable was just like fucked for something. And the director just happened. He's like, "Oh, I used to fix Limo cables, for money." So he took my Limo cable, he soldered it and fixed it on the spot.
A useful director?
A director.
Wait, he had like a soldering.
Like he had a kid on him, and he just was like, "Where's your cable? Let me see it." He's like, "Oh, this is what's fucked up," and he just fixed it. And I didn't know. I mean, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a fucked up cable. I just gotta get a new one. Let me just order one and have it overnight. But for the day, what are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Well, let me look at it," and he fucking fixed it. The director of the movie.
Incredible.
Yeah, he was very, very, very smart guy. Colin West. It was not Colin West. Colin Thays, the synthetic producer. He used to direct a bunch for them.
Well,
he still does here and
He's
there.
just like a slight genius.
Yeah,
too.
he is a
That's
genius.
weird.
But I couldn't believe it was like, "Oh, let me fix your Limo cable for you." I was like, "Of course, Colin would." I said, it's pretty funny. Yeah, I will never forget. It was like in the middle of the winter, and we're in a football field. He's just like on the floor, just like.
Sorry.
And he plugged it in. He was like, "It worked." I was like, "That's so cool." Put me to shame that day.
I find myself in this issue all the time. Like sometimes I have to love someone or something like that.
Yeah.
I usually default to the gaff tape football because that's what I have around.
The football guy.
What can you?
Can you describe what the gaff
Yeah,
tape football is?
Yeah,
Would
so
like
like
to- yeah.
when you were in school, you probably made a paper football. and then
Yeah,
you just, like,
right.
fucking
I
flick it
remember
at
that
someone.
game. Yeah, you flick it.
So
Yeah.
just make that out of gaff tape with the sticky side out,
Mhm.
and then you have two sticky sides,
So it's
and then you put the mic in between the gaff tape football, and then you just stick it.
He's laughing, so I don't think it's a good trick.
So that
I would have never thought of that, but that's if it does it work? Does
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends.
Are there
Have
like
you asked other mixers about that?
Oh yeah, they think
do they
it's
say?
the worst idea ever. But they're also trying to get a job, you know.
Yeah,
so-
I get it. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I've never. I mean, I want to do that now.
I mean, are there weird things that are absolutely not sound materials that you have in your kit? Like, do you have condoms? Do you have Band-Aids? Do you
Yeah,
have,
I mean, the whole the unlubricated condom package. It's always weird when you open it up and someone who isn't film savvy is like, they look at your kit and you're like, "Why do you have 30 unlubricated condoms in your kit?"
It's gonna be a rough day.
Yeah, you'll find out tonight.
Yeah, you'll find out tonight, right? But yeah, I have it. I mean, yeah, every once in a while, I hate covering microphones with condoms, but you got to do it. It works. But now they have really good Zeppelins that like keep it waterproof sometimes. But you got to always cover it just to be safe because you just never know. And bagging your fucking transmitter. I remember using those medical rubber gloves, when I first started out to cover transmitters in case it was like heavy rain sequences and whatnot. But I remember doing something on this one movie, an ankle strap, a thigh strap on an actor, and it was all like these like. It was a big holiday movie. It was like these big gala gowns and like this big, everyone was wearing like really fancy clothing. And I was doing mostly either ankle or thigh straps for the ladies. And for the tuxedos, you could just clip it on and you're fine. But with this one lady, I felt so bad. For some reason, her tights or whatever she was wearing just kept making the straps slide down. And it just kept making everything fall. And so after like the third attempt of fixing it, she was just like, "Just give me the gaff tape." And she gaffed her whole leg with my transmitter there.
Oh my god!
And it never fell off. But it wasn't like one gaff. Like she like really like used a lot of gaff and just like I was almost like, "Hey, can you like get circulation and blood? Are you gonna be okay?"
you into this? What's
like
going
it
on?
was I had never done that, but like what made it so funny was the entire crew watching this go down. And the wardrobe person the costumes was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah, have fun ripping that gaff tape off later." It's just like,
Good.
it was wild. But like, hey, but it worked. But hey, it was her idea. I would have never offered that. But she was like, "We're going to do this." And we're like, time crunch,
Yeah, but you can't just say, "Oh, it's their idea. It's okay." Like how sometimes they have really dumb ideas.
Yeah,
You
of
should probably be
course.
like,
And I'm
"No."
gonna be like, "We're not gonna do that," But like, at that point, I was like, "Fuck it, whatever." Like my transmitter is in a little pouch, so if there's gaff goop, goober on it, like whatever, like
Gaff goober.
gaff goop, gaff gook, whatever, whatever. Goob, right? What's that? The
Goof off.
Goof, yeah, goof
off.
Goof off. There you go. Yeah. So whatever, I didn't care, but like I was, you want to fucking gaff your leg? You go for it, dude. Like I don't care. Yeah. It worked for me and it was fine. But little things like that are always funny. Yeah. Hiding wires are always a thing. I remember hiding wires in like people's wigs, in their hairs, in their hats.
Yeah.
Have like a wire here, Whatever I can do to get it near the face or the chest.
So the goal is always like this area.
Yeah,
right?
you want it here because, if you have, you turn your head this way or that way, it'll sound fine. Sometimes I'll have people like, oh, I'm going to hide it here or here. And then like, look, they're over here the whole time. And you're like, fuck, I can't hear them like right now. So it's like, you try to have them like, hey, please in the center as much as possible, Unless your outfit's like revealing or something, then like, okay, fine. Get the boom in there as much as possible. And then you call it a day, and then you try to like move it around for angles if the actor's cool with that, But some actors just want to like put it on and not move it ever again, and you have to like adjust it, and they get really annoyed with it. But it's like trying to make you sound good, Yeah. And then they're like, I want to make this the hardest process ever, but I also don't do my own ADR. Yeah. So I was like, well, then can you like play with me here then? Because like, if you're gonna have shitty production audio and you don't want to do ADR or wild lines, then we have to make sure the lav's good, Right. And most actors are like, okay, well, yeah, I don't want to do ADR, so like, let's make this work, For sure. But then you have actors who are like, they don't care, they just don't want to do.
It's another payday.
It's another payday.
I want ADR.
Yeah. Yeah. Gaff tape though, saving lives.
Always.
Always.
The whole industry is held together with tape.
Yeah,
It really is.
I remember one time I did this movie. Child Michael Murray was wearing like a white T-shirt, and I guess you could see the wire. And I didn't have a white colored lav on me on that job.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, they make different colors. They make skin color lavs. I have a few skin color lavs. They have white color lavs and then obviously black. But then if you want something specific, they do it. Like I know for certain movies that have like a lot of like live singing in it, they'll do like green screen wires.
Oh, interesting.
So you don't have to hide the lav, and it's just there. And then in post, you just like put it away. So they make that for specific. They even make like the boom mics green, so you can dip it in frame and it's fine. They do that
That's
now.
a
But
bold,
that's on the big.
claim.
Those are on the big movies, though.
Well, it's
It's
not
fine.
fine.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
someone else's problem
Right,
now.
it is somebody else's problem. That poor VFX artist who isn't sleeping. He's like, God damn it, yeah. But yeah, they make. So I remember I didn't have a white color lab, and for whatever reason, it just kept showing in his white T-shirt. And he literally looked at me and goes, "Do you have white gaff?" And he like white gaffed
wrapped the
the
cable.
wire all over his body to hide the wire because he didn't want to deal with like, well, let's figure out rewiring the cable like on your side. He was like, I just want to get this shot over with. So like, he just like asked for white gaff tape, and he just like gaffed his skin with
God.
white gaff so you wouldn't see it. It worked. I would have never advocated for it, but it was his
ripping
idea.
that
Yeah.
off, just like
I don't know. I'm sure he wasn't happy about it. He probably was pissed off at me for that, but like he
You
suggested
did this
it.
to me, man.
You did this to me, yeah. Well, yeah, that was the thing one time. But yeah, it's interesting what you do with like conformative ideas. I don't know, like non-traditional ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
like do these like the things that you're buying to like fix the microphone, are they coming from like I guess like specialty stores, or is this stuff you
Yeah,
can
everyone
kinda
tries to
buy?
be like, oh, this is a cheaper product, or if you fix your cables or buy your cables with these people, it's very cheap material, And also, you can get wires from China for like really cheap. STI cables, BNC cables, all kinds of cables for like half the price. But then like you notice the quality deteriorate. But then when you buy American, it's like, oh yeah, these cables are really good, gold plated and all that stuff. But then like, they're also sensitive. They break easily, and you're fuck.
Right.
So it's a weird balance, But it all depends on what you like and what you use and what works for you. Everyone's got something unorthodox in their kit to make it work. I don't know.
Do you have like a microphone in your kit that's like a shitty mic? where
Oh
you're like,
yeah, that I pull out sometimes
Yeah.
just for like an emergency.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Use it. Yeah, the microphones that come with the Sennheiser, those G3, G4.
big chunk.
Yeah,
fucking thing.
those are big ones. Yeah, I have those, but I remember because like the windscreen on it's so massive. I like with a knife. Like I remember one time I had to hide this wire, and with a knife I just plucked the windscreen off. and it was an exposed mic, and I hit it with like a bunch of moleskin. So it became, once that windscreen was off, it was like a super tiny flat mic, and I just like, all right, moleskinned it and put it away. And like, yeah, it's more prone to like popping and clipping, and it's not great. But if there's no wind, you're fine. You know.
Interesting.
And I did it one time as like to have it like as a thin wire, and I put the windscreen back on. I popped it back on, but they're like stuck on it. They're like you're not supposed to move this,
right?
But like I'm doing it anyway, you know, and I've done it. Because those mics are bulky. But like they're a great microphone for like emergency. Put a lav on this guy right now. It's last second improv. Like, okay, fine, fuck it, you know. It's great for that reason. I would never use it as like here's for number one. That's my number one microphone. But it's there. It's there when you need it.
Yeah.
You know. In a pinch, it'll work.
Yeah.
But if I want to use it all the time, no, I don't want to do that. I had because those microphones were crazy. Even like the transmitters and the wireless are great, or not great because they're like this small, and that the range isn't great. I remember I had to like run as one mixer I had. I won't expose his name, but this was his kit. He had one Electro and like a fleet of G3s and G4s, or it was G3s at the time. But because the range wasn't great, he would hardline all the receivers. So he'd wire the actors, then he'd have me run all the receivers.
Sick.
Closer to set. So like it'll be like 6 XLRs from his kit leaving the cart.
You just have a snake running through set.
But it's like 6 XLRs I had to like tie up and just have all the receivers sitting somewhere in set. And I had to run that cable all the time, and it was so annoying. I was like, dude, just get a shark fin. But
he's like, I have you though.
I have you. Just run these cables. I'll never forget that experience. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get my own gear. No, it's wild stuff. Yeah, but things like that you don't see. But it's like, yeah, that is the smart thing to do when you're like on a DIY, low budget. You're still working with your kit, and you need more gear. And that was a long time ago. Like I would have done the same thing, you know, if I was in his position. So it's fine. But I remember being like, whoa. Like
it's to have 600-foot XLRs though instead of one fin.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
it's
which
crazy.
one's actually
well, because like
money?
those transmitters don't. I mean, you could get them custom made, and then you could run a fin to it.
Yeah.
But they have their own antenna that like bendable.
Okay.
So like you can't really put it on the fin.
Yeah.
So you have to run it close to set, you know.
Oh, that's
so
weird.
you just hardline it with XLR, so he gets to feed. But it's just so funny, just running like 6 lavs and just putting it on the floor somewhere. And I'm like talking to the grip, like, hey, can I put this here? Like, I'm just gonna hide it here. Just like 6 dangling receivers. I was like,
this is our whole set's audio.
Yeah. Don't hit this. And actor, can you not trip over the wire when you walk over? Yeah.
Is there like, maybe I'm wrong in this, but isn't there like a G3 pack or something that's like illegal now? Or?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So the G3s aren't, you're not supposed to use it because they're on a block 26. And I think, if I remember correctly.
All the G3s?
What does that mean?
So there's frequencies that you're not allowed to use.
Oh, it's like FAA stuff?
Yeah, so I remember years ago, I mean, for the longest time, block 26 was like the best block because you just have to turn it on and that's it. It was clean. You don't have to worry about scanning it and going through stuff. And if you had to, only once in a blue moon, you have to like change something up. It was the cleanest block. And I can't remember who it was.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, because cell phone companies.
Because you're not supposed to use it.
Well, no, it was legal for the longest time, and then out of nowhere one day, all these like rental houses were like, "Hey, listen, it's illegal now, you know, to use this block starting on this day. So you have to return your gear to retune it to a different frequency. So you're not using that block anymore." Because I think like T-Mobile or somebody, I forget, like the FCC like sold it for like millions of dollars, that block, because it's so clean. I think like a cell phone company bought it. I think it was T-Mobile. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Can you say each cell phone company so that we can edit in the one?
It was one I don't know which one it was.
Maybe
it wasn't a.
It was Sprint.
Maybe
it was AT&T. Yeah,
maybe it was
Cricket.
I just remember it was Cricket, right? It was Metro PCS.
It was Mint Mobile. It was
Boost Mobile got in the game, bro. They got the cleanest sound.
That was how they got the chirp, you know.
We got it. Okay.
We got it.
We'll just use the correct one.
I'm pretty sure. And if it wasn't a cell phone company, somebody bought that to use. So now we can't use it.
Yeah, the NSA.
But I still have a G3, and I'll turn it on, and you could use it. Like, and it's not like you turn it on, it's like it's just static. You're like, oh, it just sounds like horrible.
Well, I guess that's the thing. It's like,
you're just not allowed. Like, technically there is like,
no.
I mean, sound police, I guess.
How would the
Sound police.
I always wonder, like, is there gonna be like some guy in a van showing up, like, hey, you're using an illegal frequency, and like arrest me, and like
Just find
the
you.
whole set's like, oh my god, you know?
Yo, you guys will never guess what happened yesterday.
You had a G3 on.
Sound police showed up, bro. They scanned my G3. They knew I was there. Yeah, I don't know. I've technically, yeah, I guess you would get in trouble if someone were to find out about it. Yeah. But like, no, like I've still used it a few times.
Who's gonna know? How are they gonna know?
How are they gonna know unless they're there? But yeah, I think now that I've heard people say who still have it, they're like, yeah, it is like a lot of like RF interference when they use it sometimes. But you could be in the middle of nowhere and it'll be fine. It'll probably be like not interfering with anything and you're good. I'll use it for like an emergency here and there. You're not supposed to, but
this
like
this is a new scheme, like how to get money out of a set.
Well, that's
go,
what it was.
Go near a set and see if they're using it, and then blackmail them.
Blackmail, that'd be really funny. This is scanning. Oh, illegal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have that. You have a scanner.
Writing it down.
You have a
Yeah.
scanner.
Sound police.
We used to make so many
sound
jokes about it. It's like,
auditor.
oh, the sound police is going to show up if we use this law. That's what we use it, dude. But yeah, I mean, like, you have to like go, and it sucked because when we had to get our receivers retuned, I had to pay money for that. We had to pay money for that. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you're charging me to do this, but you're making me do this.
And they're making money.
You're
on
making
the sale.
money, you know, but then like all these other companies who are like, well, we got to retune your gear because it's illegal to use that frequency, but they're gonna make money off
Fucking
it.
Ponzi scheme. Dude.
Right.
It's fucking crazy.
It wasn't actually illegal. They just wanted to.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just wanted the
Everyone just
money.
agreed at that moment. They're like, these are illegal now.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll talk to mixers who live in Europe or like not in America, and they're like, every time I film in America, I have to like fucking use these features that I've never used in my life because you have dirty air in America. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And like, I go like this, you know, people like in Europe, like, oh, I mix in Sweden or in Germany. I never have to do anything. I just turn it on and it works. No RF, nothing bad, you know. And at least with some of the guys I've talked to in the past, and I think it's so funny. It's like, well, whenever I'm in America, I have to fucking scan like crazy and like look for RF, and it's like it's clean for a second and it gets dirty again. It's like, yeah, it's like we're in New York City, man. Like, sorry.
5G, baby.
Yeah, 5G. It's that 5G. But also, like, I've noticed with sound, it's fucking lighting gear and camera gear
yeah.
Well, so
are fucking with my shit now,
but
and it's
that's
so
the-
annoying.
I feel like most lighting stuff, like it runs on you can't change the frequency that runs on.
Yeah, it's just one thing, and
camera,
that's it.
you can at least switch between 5
Yeah,
and
you
2.4
can't.
or
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
it is.
Sound, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It depends on what you're using, you know?
were
But I've noticed
talking-
that now. All this RF is
Remember when Jeff was here? He was like, there's going to be like a day where there's
Oh, yeah.
someone on set who's like the frequency guy.
I mean, they do it on those ones.
I think the X Games does that. There
yeah,
was,
when you
like,
do live
they'll-
events.
They'll set up like blockers so that like interference won't come into the area. There was a programmer that I worked with. He talked about like they set up this whole thing, and then the next day camera came up and set up frequency blockers and just screwed up everything
yeah.
they set up the
you
day
have
before.
to run it by
like,
the venue people or whoever was in charge of like the RF coordinating of venues. Like, remember when I do like big shows at arenas, they're like, okay, what wireless do you have? And then you have to give them what you have, and they tell you what you can use. Okay, you have to be on this channel and this channel. Don't ever switch. And it's like, okay, cool. And I love that because like you told me what to do. I don't ever have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm on this channel, and if it sounds like shit, whatever. I can't switch it, you know? You get the boom in there. But yeah, they tell you what to do. But like I'm surprised that like we don't have that for like a crew.
Yeah,
when you're
it's
like
not on film set.
especially when we're like on a room
it
like
costs money.
because you ever notice like when you're working like on a tiny I guess it is money. It's another job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a money thing. But I've noticed it because you'll be on jobs and it's like I'll have like the AC come up to me and be like, hey, like what are you running on? What's your your hertz and like all this stuff. 'Cause I'm just like, well, I'm on this. And it's like, okay, well I'm doing this. I'm trying to see if your box is fucking with my thing, and we're in a small room. And all this RF is hitting. It's like, and then you start seeing things like Teradix falling and crashing. But then you move it over here, it's fine. But then my thing starts getting fucked. And then if I move it over here, and it's like all this like RF, and it's just like jam.
Plus, everyone's got a cell phone in their pocket.
Yeah, and then cell phone in their pockets and stuff like that. And then you have other stuff going on, and it's just like, damn. And then like you're troubleshooting.
All the walkies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The walkies, yeah. The walkies definitely contribute, man. The walkies definitely contribute a lot to, like, at least for me.
Ghost.
Is it all walkie? Is it like the digital ones or the analog?
Oh, the analog walkies, yeah, like the old school walkies. Because like I can go up to like sometimes I'll like go up to like I'll have like a walkie on me and I'll just like press the button, let go, and I'll just see it like fuck with my range, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's weird.
We've
Even
had-
if it's
we've-
a clean signal.
We've
I'll
had some
try
issues
it.
with like our like centennas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's just certain locations where like the range on them just drops to like 20 feet
Yeah.
because it's like you can't go through.
Yeah,
You know,
which is why they want everything up high in the air. Because if you go up in the air, you're not like it's not like going through people and stuff. If it's up in the air, there's nothing in front of it.
Yeah.
And you have like a better chance of getting better signal. Which is why I understand why you have to put it all the way up, But then you want to hide the fin, and it's like, well, it's on the floor now, or it's like hiding in behind a cabinet. And you're like, ooh. Is it going through? I don't know. It's a dance, But that's the thing. So much wireless now. It's so funny seeing gaffers now with their iPad,
Well, that's what I think it was Jeff. Jeff said something along the lines of too. It's like nowadays, it's like half of your job isn't even just knowing how it's like troubleshooting.
Yeah.
If it's like the person that knows how to troubleshoot it is the person that's going to get rehired.
That's true. Because if it happens again and again, you just know what to do with it. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
What do you think?
What are we thinking?
You want to out it?
Yeah, we can.
Let's out it.
Out it.
It's been almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's out it. Yeah, let's out it.
Probably time.
It's time. I think there's some good bites in
You
there.
want to do it?
Sure.
You look sleepy.
Sleepy boy.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I'll out it. Just look at my notes one more time. Now we're good. Well, yeah, Jose. Thanks so much for being on the
Thanks
show.
for
It's
having
been
me, guys.
dope chatting with you, man. I feel like we could just keep chatting for another
I
hour
know.
if we wanted, but
Yeah.
probably.
I don't want to.
Sound police are gonna show up. What was that scene in Scott Pilgrim? No, the vegan police. Yeah, I just want the same thing to happen. They just like blow through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man. Like sound police.
Chicken parm's not vegan.
They're like scanning frequencies. You're coming. And you get in a van. They just drive off, and like you lost the sound guy. And it's like, he's going to sound jail.
And then a new sound guy comes.
Yeah, they bring a new guy who's gonna follow the
This guy's
rules.
licensed. This guy's
Yeah,
licensed.
yeah.
Totally legit. Yeah. Well, let's hope that the sound police don't catch you on any.
Hopefully
sets
not.
anytime
No,
soon
don't
with
worry.
the
I'm not using Pod
G3s.
26. I promise. I pinky swear.
Yeah, we'll put Jose's info in the description below so you guys can find him on Instagram, check out any of his work. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and for listening. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
Happy cheers.
Sad cheers.
Sad cheers.
That cheers. Holiday cheer.